Colorado's quarterback and leader died following a battle with cancer. He was just 21 years old. Onesi's death devastated his teammates, but it also united them. Colorado became a team with a mission.
Sal taught us that the best way to fight is 11 men strong. That together we're one. You know, divided we're going to fall.
With Onesi providing the inspiration and his successor, Darian Hagan, providing the leadership on the field, Colorado had its best year ever, finishing the regular season undefeated, ranked #1, and coming within one game of the national championship. Now, a year later, the question being asked of head coach Bill McCartney is, can his team be as successful without the Onesi factor? Colorado hopes to have a positive answer to that question today. Last year, Tennessee surprised everyone, including head coach Johnny Majors, finishing the season 11-1 and winning a share of the SEC championship. In 1990, the Vols returned 9 offensive starters, including Carl Pickens, the multi-talented wide receiver, and the sensational Chuck Webb, an explosive tailback that Majors likens to a young Tony Dorsett. Tennessee hopes to continue where they left off last year. Today, live on NBC Sports from Anaheim Stadium, it's the inaugural game of the Disneyland Pigskin Classic. Tears, champions of the Cotton Bowl, co-champions of the SEC. 11-1 a season ago, looking to be even better in 1990 under coach Johnny Majors. 7,000 Tennessee fans here to back the Vols, and here come the Buffaloes of Colorado under coach Bill McCartney. The only team in America that was unbeaten and untied through the regular season. The Buffaloes, as you know, fell to the Fighting Irish in the Orange Bowl. Now, in 1990, they go for the national championship again. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Criqui with Bill Walsh. The opening game of the season could be one of the best. This is a high-stakes game, in the opinion of Coach Bill McCartney of Colorado. The winner will have a real tailwind, possibly heading toward a national championship. The loser, Bill, has a lot of pieces to pick up, and both these coaches clearly are feeling the pressure.
Well, John Majors, with all his experience and success, is concerned. He says this is the toughest opener he's ever had. So, you know, both clubs have taken on a real challenge here in Anaheim.
The game is loaded with outstanding players. NFL scouts project as many as 8 or 10 of these players will eventually be drafted in the first round by the NFL. Who particularly stands out to you, Bill?
Well, there are a number of people, but the right tackle for Tennessee, Anton Davis, what a great athlete, a consensus All-American, an early #1 pick. Alfred Williams, right opposite him, one of the great linebackers in college football. He'll be a #1 pick, a brilliant athlete, an All-American.
Tennessee has a fabulous offense. If there's one area that's suspect, though, it could be the Tennessee defense. A lot of new people in there.
That'll be tough. They have 7 new starters, 3 junior college players. And being a former coach, I'd guess that 5 of those will be good. 2 will disappoint. Who will they be? Nobody knows.
Also joining us today on the sidelines is NBC's Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
Thanks, Don. You know, it's a great day for a football game. It's 78 degrees, little or no wind. The field is in great condition. And by the way, having played on this field quite a few times, it is a very fast track, which should enhance the team speed of that Tennessee team. But when you got a big, strong team like Colorado, it can't hurt to have a fast track. It's a great day for a game and a great matchup. And let's go back upstairs to Don and Bill.
Okay, Ahmad, temperature about 78 degrees. Clear and sunny in Southern California. Wind won't be a factor. Playing on the natural grass field at Anaheim Stadium, home of the L.A. Rams. They played here last night and beat Phoenix. L.A. Rams. They played here last night and beat Phoenix.
This is really a tough game for both coaches because there are a number of players on that field right now who have yet to play college football, yet they're with the top team in their area, in their conference, and among the top teams in the country. So many questions to be answered in the next few minutes.
There is Bill McCartney, the college coach of the year in virtually every poll last season. He's very optimistic again, as is Johnny Majors. As Bill pointed out, Majors calls this his toughest opener in 22 years as a head coach. He's the dean of Southeastern Conference coaches. Johnny Majors beginning his 14th season at the helm of the Volunteers. Colorado in white will kick off. 2 burners are back for Tennessee. The return men are Carl Pickens and Anthony Morgan. Ball is bobbled. And now Carl Pickens takes it back out across the 30 and breaks it out close to the 35-yard line. that is where Tennessee will go on offense. First down and 10. There's Andy Kelly, their quarterback, and he is fronted by a very big array of linemen. McCray and Davis, both #1 picks, are projected as that in the NFL. They like Myslinski as a guard. Very strong up front is Tennessee in the offensive line. Poles is the blocking back. Webb, the great tailback. Harper and Pickens are the flyers at the wideouts, and Adams starts at tight.
You know, there can be some real surprises early in the game because they haven't had a chance really to scout each other. All kinds of new things can be developed.
Chuck Webb.
Well, we've got our great player, Alfred Williams, penetrating, avoiding a blocker, and simply destroying the play. Now, this is a truly great athlete. You see him coming off the edge of the defense, and look at the great athletic ability over the top of the blocker, and then he just runs down Webb, who we'll see later is one of the great young runners in the game.
Webb averaged 5.9 yards a carry as a freshman. Gained almost 1,250 yards for the Volunteers. Now Kelly looking to throw on second and long. Drills a fireball down to the 35-yard line, but Colorado's defense is good. The tight end was Mark Adams. He was the intended receiver. Lamar Gray was covering on the play. As we look at a very tough Colorado defense, Renfro, a redshirt freshman, is really coming out of defensive tackle. Steed and Howe, experienced down linemen, very good players. Williams and McGee, the outside backers, rated by scouts as the 2 best outside backers in any one team in the country. And they're good inside, too, with Greg Biekert and Chad Brown. McLuhan's dad played for the old Oakland Raiders. The left cornerback, Tim James, a standout safety. They go to the draw. Here's Webb running up the middle of the field. Webb is an attacking run. Major says he goes right after tacklers when there's no other way to go.
He is good. Is he quick? Now, both coaches talk to him in terms of Saunders of the Detroit Lions. So Saunders is the great runner. They say this is the similar athlete. Quick feet, lateral movement, and explosion.
Now Joey Chapman is in the game to punt the ball. Tennessee comes up short on 3 tries. A downfield hit. Going down to fair catch it is Dave McClune, a senior cornerback. And the Buffaloes of Colorado will start out first and 10 at their 25-yard line. 35-yard punt. So McCartney and his high-scoring Buffaloes send their offense on the field for the first time in 1990 at quarterback. Behind this big offensive line of Solomon and Vanderpool, the tackles. Garton was a consensus All-American at left guard. Darian Hagan, the QB. He was the Sporting News College Player of the Year last season. Simmons starts at tailback. And there's a handoff straight ahead, and running with the ball is Mike Pritchard. He lost the ball, and the Vols think they have it. Sean Walker, the middle linebacker, might have been on the ball. He made the hit.
Well, with Eric Bieniemy out and held out of this game for disciplinary reasons, Pritchard takes over as a tailback. Normally, he's a wingback. So this is his first carry in live competition for a number of years. So you see him explode through the line. There's a hole opened up. He makes a good judgment coming through, but the ball's loose, and it's knocked loose. So this is one of those question marks these coaches can't be sure of as a game starts. The first game of the year against top competition.
And that indeed, Bill, was a big concern of Bill McCartney not having Bieniemy here. He suspended him for 1 game. We'll get into the reason why a bit later on as the Volunteers come up with the first turnover. Cadavis McGee makes the tackle on Chuck Webb. What actually happened, Bieniemy's parents' home in Aurora, Colorado, is a fire in the garage. The local fire department came and put out the fire. And Bieniemy thought one of the firemen was too active with the axe and was wrecking the garage. So he says he accidentally brushed him with his hand. The fireman thought differently. He was pressing charges. At any rate, Bieniemy's not here today. He is on the sideline, but he can't play. Suspended by his coach. Kelly throws. His receiver, Pickens, turned out and fell down.
This is so tough in an initial game. All of the practice, even the scrimmages within your own squad, you can't tell how you'll perform. And naturally, these young players are anxious. They're concerned about the opposition, and the timing just isn't there. Everybody will settle down. Probably in the next possession or two, you'll start to see the execution you need.
Now, third down arises. 3rd and 10, ball on the 28-yard line. One of the rules of General Neyland, the great Tennessee coach, when you get an opportunity, score. And Tennessee made the first break of the game with the fumble recovery, a quick out to super fast Anthony Morgan. Tennessee could field a world-class 4x100-meter relay team with its wide receivers. Morgan, who just caught the ball, is a legitimate 4-3. Dave McClellan covered on the play. He's playing with a broken nose. But it's an old story for Dave, I guess. Bill, it's the third time he's had a broken nose in high school and twice at Colorado.
Doesn't seem to bother him at all. He looked a little anxious with that mask over his face, but he's done it all his career.
So the only problem is breathing, a minor concern, right?
Boy, his dad was a great corner for the Raiders.
Greg Burke finds the field goal, and it's blocked. And the ball is picked up by Colorado out at the 47-yard line of the Buffaloes. So Colorado, after giving the ball over on a turnover, now makes the big play with a kick block. Mark Adams picked it up.
Once again, first field goal with real activity, rushing the kicker, and the protection broke down in 3 places right up the middle. They'll get on the sidelines. They'll probably correct that. But all kinds of things happen. You'll see people just come right up the field and just inundate the middle of that defense. The hold wasn't that good either, so everything broke down.
So we'll be back with nothing on the board yet. Colorado with the ball.
I think Coach Bill Walsh hit it right on the head that this team is going to settle down. The offensive line coach, Mike Berry, got the team together on the sideline, and the offensive line felt like Tennessee was playing kind of soft and was playing into their hands. They could fire out and take control of that line of scrimmage.
Darian Hagan on the option run, breaks into open field, crosses midfield. He's ahead for a first down and more as he's inside the 40-yard line of Tennessee with a 16-yard run, knocked down by cornerback Jeremy Lincoln.
Well, the defense calls for Dale Carter, first game he's played as weak safety, to be ready to stop Hagan when he keeps the ball. And he's going to come out of the middle, but he's going to come out of the middle to make the play, but he's against one of the best runners in the game, especially at the quarterback position. So you'll see him come out of the middle and make the play.
And now to live action, a throw over the middle, a completed ball to the tight end, John Bowman of Colorado. But there is a penalty marker down. Sean Walker made the tackle, number 45.
The strategy in stopping this form of offense with the option play, the I-bone as they call it, is to take the weak safety, and he's responsible. He has to come out of there to account for all the potential runners in this game. So he'll come out to make a play. In this case, he's one-on-one with Hagan, one of the great quick runners in the game today. You'll see him at position blocked, and then, of course, missed a tackle. That's one of the toughest jobs in football.
15 yards, loss it down. Second down.
The offensive pass interference call signaled against Colorado, so the pass play comes back, and there's also a loss of down on the play. The ball spotted back at the Buffalo's 46-yard line. So it's going to be second down and 25 for Colorado.
Well, Jerry DiNardo, the offensive coordinator for Colorado, talked about more passing. As people know that follow Colorado, it was not very good in the Orange Bowl. They have to be more effective with their passing game, accounting for only about 12% of their total offense last year. It's good to see them open up. I know they've been giving it time on the practice field, so we'll see more of it. That'll give Colorado the dimension they need to win a national championship.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure, false start, offense, 5
Tight end
yards.
Bowman came out of his three-point a little early. So Buffaloes are set back again. It's now second down and 30 in the scoreless game. 11:24 to play in the first quarter. The Disneyland Pigskin Classic. As dropping to throw is Darian Hagan against a big rush. He screens the ball out to Michael Simmons. And Simmons takes it across midfield and down to the 47-yard line.
As far as Colorado is concerned, the kinds of plays that can gobble up yardage through the air are the difference. We know they can run the ball. You can see some stats here, 4-to-1 passing versus running. So the running game has carried this team, but when they get against top opposition, you have to be able to effectively throw the ball. They've given it the time.
Bill McCartney, one game over 500 in his career at Colorado. This is the start of his 9th season. Downfield throw. It's intercepted. Picked off by the Volunteers. Dale Carter, the free safety, is on the run. Playing his first game for Tennessee, Dale Carter, a junior college transfer. makes the big play. So Colorado turns the ball over twice now in the first quarter. A 35-yard return by Dale Carter.
How discouraging it can get. The receiver is open, over the top, right into the free safety's hands. And again, this is the problem with a team that really doesn't emphasize the pass. They want to get it done, yet they're unable to execute in critical times. So you see good protection, good drill ball, just about a foot or two over the head, right into the weak safety.
Kelly, the Tennessee quarterback, a very poised, polished player. He hands off now, and Webb tries to bounce outside. And Colorado's defense comes hitting. Chad Brown, starting at inside linebacker, makes the stop.
Well, as long as they work those edges of the offense, where you see Alfred Williams, 94, Kanavis McGee, 96, they're just not going to get anything. They'll destroy the blocker and make the stop, and that's what happened there. They wanted to bounce the play. It was forced inside, and Chad Brown had an easy stop.
Webb has had some sensational games in the Cotton Bowl. He gained 250 yards against Arkansas, gained 290 yards against Ole Miss last season. Kelly screens it out, but Colorado's defense is all over the play and very nearly on the ball. As making a play on it was Kanavis McGee. He almost was off to the end zone, had been able to hold on to it. Gary Howe shut down the screen, and Kanavis McGee came up on a floating ball, so that almost went for 6, Bill.
Well, both teams are so anxious. The passing game demonstrates it. The ball's overthrown again, and Kelly's only 1 for 4 at this point. They'll get it together, but Don, the team that gets it together soon enough will win the game.
Both very tight, both in the top 10 in every preseason poll. Colorado's ranked #1 in 2 preseason polls. Kelly throws to an open man. Carl Pickens is inside the 25-yard line. Pickens, a sophomore from Murphy, North Carolina, is called by his coach, Johnny Majors, the best athlete I've ever coached.
Pickens high jumps 7 feet, so you can imagine what kind of an athlete he is. Up the field, nice avoid inside, big hole in the defense in front of the safeties. Nice catch, leaping catch, and off he goes. Colorado's going to have to be tighter to those receivers crossing in the middle.
Greg Thomas, the free safety, kept it from going the distance. He made the tackle, but now Tennessee mounts the first big challenge of this scoreless game. Kelly to the outback. Webb. Quick moves. Webb is tremendous leg drive, very powerfully built. He's 5'10", 200 pounds, and yet he has the great breakaway speed. As a junior, he was the Ohio 100-meter champion.
That time they did end up blocking McGee, but they won't be able to do it as a steady dive. The one thing you appreciate about a Johnny Majors team, they're fully dimensional. In recent years, they've done well passing, running. They have good talent. They spread it around the offensive field, each man getting a chance to handle the ball, and that in itself is why he's done so well.
Handoff, they go right back to Webb, and Webb busts it inside the 5-yard line against the Colorado defense that shut down the run last year. Tennessee behind the great player at right tackle that Bill Walsh mentioned at the outset, Anton Davis. A 320-pounder with speed, and Webb follows that big guy right down close to the goal line. A 13-yard gain, first and goal.
You'll see Davis turn out, number 78, and run his man well off the field, opening a huge hole to the inside. Davis, 4.940. Weight training, tremendous strength, but above and beyond that, extremely bright, very articulate. He'll be one of the top 5 in the NFL draft.
4.9 speed at 320, and here is Webb taking the pitch back, and the Buffaloes cut him down. Chad Brown, an inside linebacker, knocked him down.
You know, at this stage of the year, after 3 weeks of practice, Don, both teams are inspired to play football. But the bottom line, high school, college, professional, is performance. The standard of performance, precision, and execution. Sooner or later, it comes down to that, because both teams want to win equally. It's who can execute under this stress.
Tennessee executes from the eye, goes to Webb, and he's down close. And here's the signal. It's touchdown, Tennessee. So the underdog Volunteers take the lead.
Boy, does Tennessee have a crowd here. They were in our hotel, and they have partied for 3 straight days. Loved their team, loved their school.
The Big Orange, 7,000 strong in as you watch Webb go over the top.
Right over the top. Great leaping ability. It didn't look like, well, he finally got in there. But that was tight.
center, John Fisher's been blocking well also. Here's the extra point by Burke. He was 36 for 36 last season, and he's perfect to start 1990 as the Volunteers take a 7-0 lead.
And Pigskin Classic is brought to you by Disneyland, celebrating 35 years of magic. By Volkswagen, say the word, Farpignugan. It's what makes a car a Volkswagen.
This is Don Criqui with Bill Walsh and Ahmad Rashad back at Anaheim Stadium. The Volunteers of Tennessee set to kick off. They capitalized on an interception. They went 41 yards in 7 plays. Webb over the top on the payoff end, their tailback, and it's a 7-0 game. Mike Pritchard and Dwayne Davis back now for Colorado. A high spinning kick, but not deep. This is Pritchard, and he bungles the ball. He has a major problem inside his 10, but he breaks into open field. And Pritchard is upended on a fine tackle. An open field stop on the play by J.J. McCleskey.
So often on a kickoff or a punt return, if a man unfortunately drops the ball, everybody tends to overrun it, and that's just what happened here. These guys were so anxious to get that stop and back up that Colorado team, they took their eye, in a sense, off the ball carrier when they tried to tackle him, and look where the ball is, on the 29-yard line.
Colorado's coaches, McCartney pointed out to us, Bill, looking for more pass offense. But Hagan's last throw was intercepted, and now he tries to turn upfield. And Tennessee's defense, much maligned last year, it was last in the SEC against the pass, has been tough against the run. The strong safety Mark Fletcher, the junior, filled there and made the stop.
Colorado jumped into an unbalanced line, hoping that Tennessee wouldn't adjust to it. And it just so happened that Tennessee was in a defense that overshifted to wide field. They were just waiting for it. So in an opener like this, you'll see unbalanced lines, strange formations, anything to force people to make mistakes.
Hagan with a drop and a throw downfield, and he makes the connection to Michael Simmons after the 50, and now it is ways off. They ruled it hit the turf before he had possession. It would have been a 19-yard gain, but they rule incomplete pass.
Looked like a little contact before the ball got there. A little bit of contact. They could easily have called this. You'll see the ball come in. There's the contact before the ball gets there. So pass interference could have been a call on that one.
Last year, Darian Hagan, as McCartney protests, became the first back in Big 8 history, the 6th ever to pass for over 1,000 yards in a season and rush for over 1,000 yards. Pat Jones, the Oklahoma State, said he is such an explosive athlete. He takes his whole team to a higher level. Another long throw, another interception. A perfect room service interception to Mark Fletcher. The strong safety standing back in a deep zone, just waiting for the ball. So Hagan has been intercepted twice now in the first quarter. It is Colorado's 3rd turnover of the first quarter.
Well, that may be the end of some of this passing. The receiver open. Plenty of pass protection. Hagan sets up, plants, and then just drills it totally over the receiver's head. You see it right to a safety man who's standing there watching the game. So this is the kind of problem you have with an offense that depends on strictly the option.
Before the game with the receiver coach Don Freese, and he said what they want to do with Colorado's offense is to incorporate the ball control passing game and not get in a situation where they have to throw the ball way down the field. With those turnovers that you've seen, you can see why they don't want to throw the ball down the field. They're not very effective. Don?
And as you know, Ahmad, Colorado was 2nd best in the country in fewest turnovers last season. 3 in the first quarter today, 3 turnovers as Tennessee goes to a big fullback, Greg Ensler.
Joel Steed, the nose tackle, just slanted too far and opened up a huge hole behind him. Johnny Majors thinks Joel Steed, number 93, the nose tackle, is their 2nd best player on the Colorado defense. But he's very active. He's moving and creating holes behind him.
He's the strongest Buffalo, Joel Steed. Bench presses almost 500 pounds, but this center on Tennessee's a good player. John Fisher been chopping him. As we mentioned about the turnovers, as Tennessee goes to the run again, this time Tony Thompson in the tailback takes it down to the 20. That brings up 3rd down and 2. In 11 regular season games last year, Colorado had only 12 turnovers. Northern Illinois led the nation with 11, but so far today, 3 turnovers for the Buffaloes in the first quarter, and Tennessee capitalized on one of them to take it in subsequently for a touchdown. And the Volunteers lead the game 7-0. They call this the eye bone. Eye back is Webb, and he gets the ball. Diving ahead, he is inside the 20 and appears to have a first down for Tennessee.
Webb really charges up the field. He covers ground. It's explosive. And there's talk that he'll leave Tennessee this year for the NFL. I think it's a mistake, but he may be right now capable of playing professional football.
Actually, it's a mistake for most players, Bill. 40 came out early last year and 22 weren't drafted.
It's really a lost world for those that don't make it, and it's unnecessary. Rarely do they go back and get an education.
Webb turns the corner, turns upfield. He's heading to the end zone. He's cut down at the 5-yard line by the free safety, Greg Thomas. But there is a penalty marker down on the field. A 14-yard gain could come back for Coach Johnny Majors' team.
Both teams are so potent on offense that turnovers just destroy the defensive team because they're going to make first downs if they get a possession. So Colorado's sort of given up real opportunities and given them to Tennessee.
Holding call negates the big game, so Tennessee will be set back. They would have gone first and goal from the 5 had the play gone.
Tennessee has the facility to throw the football. They're extremely well coached. Kelly has a lot of control, gets a lot of practice time, where Colorado's getting all of their time with the option play, which they're extremely effective with. Tennessee gives that time to passing. So you get in a situation like this, where it's long yardage, Tennessee most likely will get that first down, even with 20 yards to go. Spread formation.
They gave Andy Kelly a battlefield promotion last year. Battlefield commission. He throws down the middle now to Alvin Harper, who was free, but a big rush by Alfred Williams shut him down. They weren't moving the ball against Alabama last year. That was Tennessee's only loss, and Kelly was put in at quarterback. They didn't win the game, but they did win the rest of the way. Went 6-0 the rest of the way.
Alfred Williams unblocked. Now you can't do that one very often, Don. Wow, that guy is something. But again, Kelly had the poise to get the ball off and almost get a completion. They spread that Colorado defense out. One of the problems for both teams, hard to prepare for each other because they don't have anybody on their squad to simulate or emulate what the other people do.
Kelly goes to Webb on the draw. That's Ambler, the fullback, a big fullback from Chatham, New Jersey, who can also throw the ball. He's their best back as a receiver. And he takes it down to the 27-yard line. It is a very warm day here in Southern California. Temperature climbing into the low 80s, and both teams starting to look at more personnel now.
Yeah, they'll have to. But they have plans. Emsler comes in as a receiver and a blocker. That time he just picked the wrong hole. There's a huge hole to the other side of the line.
Third down and 18 now for Tennessee. Volunteers lead the game in the first quarter 7-0. Andy Kelly throws a strike, and Pickens loses the ball. What a rip put on by Greg Thomas, a 220-pound free safety. The linebackers back there playing free safety.
Well, that's today's safety man. Big, active athletes like that, the Ronnie Lott type. But in this case, Greg Thomas, 6'3", 220. When he makes contact, he just destroys a receiver.
Now Greg Burke is on the field again. You'll remember his earlier attempt from 41 yards out was blocked. This will be a 44-yard attempt. Senior from Key Biscayne, Florida. He hit 14 of 16 field goals for the Volunteers last season. And again, a big long arm of a Colorado Buffalo slaps it down. Appeared to be Alfred Williams who got the ball. But now the Buffaloes fight to maintain possession inside their 5-yard line. So despite a third turnover, they do stop Tennessee from scoring again. But Colorado now has the long field to go. They're 97 yards from the Tennessee end zone.
They really dodged a bullet for the second time because with 6 more points on the board, it would have been tough to overcome. You get all the people loaded up on one side and stretching way out. Great block from the outside.
Tennessee holds to its 7-0 lead. By Disneyland, the Matterhorn, nearby to Anaheim Stadium. This is the first Disneyland Pigskin Classic on NBC Sports. As we now have a 7-0 score on the board. Tennessee is in the lead. Miles came in, rated by the local papers as a slight underdog to Colorado. First time they've ever played. Colorado looking for breathing room deep in their own end. And Sean Walker, the middle linebacker for the Volunteers, makes the hit on Mike Pritchard, the tailback, again pointing out that Eric Bieniemy, the #1 tailback for Colorado, has been suspended from playing in this game for an altercation he had with a fireman who was working with an axe in his burning garage. We don't know the whole details. Details are sketchy.
Well, they don't have Eric in there, and he's one of the best runners in the Big 8, so they missed that. The problem with it is that the guys doing it haven't done that much.
Here comes Hagan on the wishbone. Rolls it out off that really eye-bone attack and gets it out to the 20-yard line, where outside linebacker Ernest Fields gets him.
Hagan wanted to stretch that and get outside, but when the defense widened, he just broke up between people. And you'll see him start. The play wants to get outside with the ball, but he sees a big hole, and his natural instincts are really afforded by the coaches. They'll let him go with that ball anywhere.
Coach McCartney said they put a lot more on Hagan this year. He's a fast learner, and they put a lot more offense in. He's only a sophomore. Handoff. Running with the ball is Michael Simmons, and he is out to the 30-yard line and gets ahead for a Colorado first down. They've not had many, as Dale Carter made the stop. A 12-yard gain on the play.
Well, Heasley, 79, the right guard, did a beautiful job of pulling and trapping. And Mark Vanderpool, who we haven't talked about, another first-round potential football player at right tackle, pulled beautifully and led through the hole. More dimension this year by Colorado. More offense. Less dependent on Hayden or Bieniemy.
We have 3:15 to play in the first quarter. Up back, gets the ball, and running hard with it is the fullback, George Hemingway.
Got an excellent block by the left tackle, Ariel Solomon, who another man who's an NFL prospect. 4 offensive tackles in this game that will really make something happen. So you'll see him right here blocking down and making the kind of hole that will make a big difference. It's coming right through on the linebacker, cuts him down. Active athlete. 4 outstanding tackles in one football game.
2nd and 2 for Colorado. And straight ahead for the first down is Mike Pritchard, a 5'11", 180-pound tailback wide receiver from Las Vegas, as the Buffaloes get their 5th first down of this game. Late in the first quarter, they're trailing Tennessee 7-0. 2:28 to play in the quarter.
Both teams settling down now. Now you see the real strength of either club. This is the first big game of the college football season. We've seen NFL preseason. Interesting, but the stakes are here. The stakes are high in this one.
Well, they both finished 11-1 last season, finished 4th and 5th in the national rankings, the final one. As Michael Simmons carries again for Colorado. Mark Moore, the best down lineman for Tennessee, number 74, made the tackle. Last year, actually earlier this year, January 1, it was those 3 missed chances in the first half against Notre Dame that Bill McCartney said really could have cost his team the national championship, and he said we weren't mature enough to rally back at halftime from that disappointment of blowing 3 scoring chances.
Well, even in the worst of conditions, you can learn something. And that tragic game for Colorado could very well build for the future.
Hagan takes a hard shot. Darian Hagan has quickness that startles the defense. You don't know how fast he is, fast as he looks on film. Do you watch him on the field? Darrell Hardy, 87, the leading tackler last season for Tennessee. It's his job to shadow Darian Hagan, and he put a shoulder on him there. But Hagan gets ahead close to a first down as Colorado starts to run its offense better. Buffalo's now 3rd down and less than 2.
Don't expect a pass here, Don. I don't think we'll see many more for a while. Unbalanced line to the wide field.
Hagan having been intercepted twice in the first quarter. Mike Pritchard, number 9, on a slant run into the Tennessee defense. Takes the ball down close to the 38-yard line. And it's a first down for Colorado as Coach Majors now sees his defense starting to give up yards.
One of the points they should make, when Hagan just took that big hit, this guy's so strong he bench presses 360 pounds.
By the way, Hagan just came out of the game limping, just on the edge of the field, and Charles Johnson's in at quarterback, so I'm sure they'll be looking. He was limping, so let's see what happens.
Hagan's durable, but not big. 5'10", 185. Charles Johnson's 5'11", about 160. Very quick. Out of Detroit, Michigan. They go back to the run, and Colorado's offensive line starts to bust open Tennessee as Michael Simmons runs. Darrell Hardy tackles for the Volunteers, but behind Mark Vanderpool, the right tackle for Colorado, who's 6'8", 300 pounds. The Buffaloes get their running game in gear.
Well, Joe Garton that time, the All-American guard, pulled and trapped. Ariel Solomon pulling in behind him. They're taking that play either way. The guard trapping, the tackle pulling through. In Tennessee at this point, where their inexperience is sitting and waiting for the play. So Colorado can go to that anytime they want until Tennessee starts penetrating with their defense.
And that's going to do it for the first quarter, as the first quarter ends with Tennessee leading Colorado 7-0. Darian Hagan, the College Player of the Year and Player of the Year in the Big 8 last season, on the sideline after taking a shot on his knee.
It looks like his knee hits the ground, so most likely not a twist, more of a bruise. If that's the case, he may be okay.
Yeah, he's up and got his hat back on, so apparently Darian Hagan's ready to go back in, Bill. Not throwing the ball well, as you see, 1 for 4. Actually, he's completed 3 of 4, but 2 went to Tennessee.
Well, it got 83 yards on the ground out of 94 total.
Quick snap to the up back on second down and short. Johnson actually tried to take it himself behind it as Mark Moore filled and made the stop. Be very close to a first down for Colorado. Last season, Colorado was number 2 in America in rushing, averaging 372 yards a game.
Another factor, both clubs have excellent backup quarterbacks. Charles Johnson on the field now can do everything Hagan does. Not quite as big, but just as effective.
Let's check out now Darian Hagan's condition to Ahmad.
All right, John, Darian Hagan just got a slight little sprain on his knee. I talked to the Colorado trainer, Dave Burton. He said it's not loose at all, and he'll be back in the game. That's good news for Colorado.
No sooner said. Hagan's back in the game to run the Colorado offense. The Buffaloes have a first down. This is their deepest penetration of the game. Early in the second quarter, Tennessee leading Colorado 7-0. They scored in a short plunge by Chuck Webb.
There it is again, that same counter play. Tennessee's going to have to do something about that. They're sitting and waiting at the line of scrimmage while the Colorado guard and tackle are going to pull and get through the hole while Tennessee sits there in their defense. You'll see 2 people pull. They're up the field. Nice job by Solomon. Big hole. Tennessee is going to have to close down when they see those people pulling.
Tennessee gave up a lot of yards last year, even in the victory over Arkansas in the Cotton Bowl. They gave up 568 yards to the Razorbacks as Michael Simmons runs now for Colorado. Chuck Smith, starting his first game for Tennessee at defensive end, made the stop, number 56.
Well, we're into the second quarter. Both teams have settled down. Now we'll find out who has the superior squad. Both are moving the ball effectively. The scoring that they're both used to just hasn't demonstrated itself yet.
Third down and about 3. Big down for the Buffaloes. Hagan with the eye bone line behind him. On the rollout, Darian Hagan darts ahead, and he takes a hit but keeps on trucking and gets ahead for the first down. Dale Carter, the free safety, came up and really put a big hit on Darian Hagan.
Carter really came up and made a stop. Look at that. And Hagan is so strong that he held his own against that big guy coming right at him. Both people playing fierce football. Fierce.
Well, the pro scouts say you play Colorado, you're going to come away with a bloody nose. And Tennessee's starting to really show some defense now after being way down in the defensive end the last couple of years.
Yeah, they've got more actual talent, more physical ability on the field. Johnny Majors indicates than maybe they've had since he's been there.
Pritchard weaves his way into the Tennessee secondary on a first down carry. He's down to the 14-yard line. The free safety, Preston Warren, tackled him. Buffalo's open for a trip to the end zone now.
Well, you know, Colorado is for real. Everybody wondered about last year, that record, a Cinderella season with a special motivation. But you can see here they have the talent and the coaching and the determination to have another great year.
Well, they've really come back from some first quarter adversity as Hagan looks and throws. He's got a man down to the 2-yard line. Tight end John Bowman slipping underneath that deep zone drop. Swings across the field, and Hagan running to his left throws nicely for a 13-yard gain. It's 1st and goal, Colorado.
One of the toughest jobs is rolling left if you're right-handed. Now you can see him turn his right shoulder back and just flip the ball. And that's something that, no question, Tennessee hasn't seen. Wasn't in the scouting report. They had no one near the receiver.
16th play of the drive coming up. Hagan checks with his up back, Hemingway. Make sure they're all on the same page as they've got a big chance now. And Pritchard over the top is thrown back at the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal from there. A 275-pound defensive tackle, Mark Moore, made the stop.
Both teams have excellent offensive lines right down the line. Guards, center, Leuenberg, the center, an excellent blocker. A junior, could be an NFL player someday. His dad was a great player at Stanford, by the way. But a fine player. Excellent offensive lines, among the best in college football.
Let's see what they do now. The offensive line fires out, and Hagan tries to slide in. He's down close to the goal line, but no signal. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Both teams, Don, are slipping in an unbalanced line every other play. And they're hoping that the other team, first game of the year, don't adjust. But at this point, that unbalanced line really hasn't done much. What they're doing, putting the left tackle over to the right side, so there's an extra lineman over there.
Huge down now in this game as Tennessee leads it in the 2nd quarter, 7-0. Colorado with a 3rd down and goal from a yard away. That's Pritchard, the deep back. They go to the up back, and Hemingway is down to the goal line, and still no touchdown signal. But Coach Major sees his defense hold, and now McCartney's got a big decision. On 4th down, you go for it. You have to go for it.
Because he's got to almost assume that Tennessee will move the ball when they get it, and they'll score. So Colorado desperately needs 7 points. 3 won't do it. They can go over the top, I think, and get this. It's only a few inches. One of the worst plays here is the quarterback sneak, because even if he were to score, by the time the officials get there, he's been pushed back.
Remember last year's Orange Bowl when Colorado was down close against the Fighting Irish. Hagan rolled to his right and was stopped, and then an over-the-top play didn't go, but this time the fullback, George Hemingway, rockets in behind the All-American left guard, Joe Garton.
A very odd defense for that situation. Tennessee was spread out defensively with big gaps over both guards. They did, and Colorado just fell in for a touchdown. I don't understand that one. You see, ground level, there's going to be a big void where anyone could have walked in with it for the score. I assume they were looking for the option play outside, even though there were only inches to go.
Jim Harper's in to try the point after, and he spins it up and good. And with 9:55 to play in the first half, a 19-play, 97-yard drive culminates in a Colorado touchdown to tie the game.
Defensively, Tennessee is playing for the option play, leaving big voids inside. You'll see, so Hemingway just breaks in, and there'll be no one there to stop the play. So even with inches to go, Tennessee feels as there's an outside option play. Hemingway walks right in. And early in the year, you're concerned about Hagan. I suppose you do that, but they were within inches of the goal line. In fact, Ahmad Rashad could have scored on that play.
I tell you, that Garton moves people out. Big Joe Garton, who was a consensus All-American, a 290-pound guard from nearby Valencia High School in Southern California. Blew open the hole, and now the long kickoff downfield, and the Vols are going to run it back. Here's Anthony Morgan, the fastest Volunteer, but that doesn't help as the Buffaloes have the angle on the kick coverage, and now Tennessee will start deep in the Volunteer zone end. As you see, Anaheim Stadium from high above, from the Goodyear Blimp Columbia, based in nearby Carson, California. The pilot is Joel Chamberlain from Norwood, Massachusetts. Goodyear Blimps travel over 100,000 miles every year, covering major sports events.
Well, Johnny Majors knows he's going to have to move the ball. Both clubs now have total respect for the other's offense. They know the offense of the other team can move, so they have to take advantage of it when they get their chance.
Pitch back to Webb. Blockers in front, and Colorado's defense picked up by the good play of the offense on that 19-play drive that featured 18 runs. Now rises up. Joel Steed, the nose tackle, was on the play, as was All-American linebacker Alfred Williams. This Williams is a football playing son of a... What a beautiful specimen.
He's an absolute beauty. He's got a great attitude also.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
6'6", 240. Tremendous basketball player. He wanted to play. He said he's going to play some nose tackle. We'll have to see. 6'6", I don't know if you want him in there.
I wouldn't bother with it. I'm sure he could do it. He could do anything. But between McGee, number 96 on the other side, and Williams, these two bookends can dominate a game. People have to account for them every play.
Dead ball. Encroachment. Offense. 5 yards.
Colorado coaches Williams, you can't hide him. He's so big, 6'6", 240. But he's so hard to block. He makes himself low and has great arm extension.
He's playing much more aggressively this year, too. There's the movement on the outside. But he's playing much more aggressively. What concerned me a year ago watching them, he was a little too tentative and too mechanical. Now they're just unleashing him.
2nd and 14 as Kelly gambles, goes to his end zone, throws an out pattern, and it's intercepted by McCloughan. Dave McCloughan, the senior cornerback for Colorado, whose dad was an American Football League All-Pro player with the Oakland Raiders. Shows the great bloodlines he has for playing cornerback, coming up on the ball, and all of a sudden this game has turned, and Colorado in position to go ahead now.
Very difficult pass. You see, the receiver never gets McCloughan turned, so McCloughan's backing up, watching the ball, coming forward, and he sees the ball before the receiver does.
McCloughan playing with the worst broken nose the Colorado team position has ever seen. Stadium at the first Disneyland Pigskin Classic. The game is tied 7-7, and now Colorado with a chance to take the lead for the first time. 1st and 10 as Hagan gives to his fullback Hemingway, who scored the last time he had the ball. Tom Fuller making his first start for Tennessee. Number 91 was on the stop at defensive tackle.
You know, both teams have had their problems with passing. The timing of the pass, the accuracy of it. I assume you'd expect that. First game of the year. Most teams, those who expect national rankings, have sort of a soft start, a soft schedule early in the year. Both coaches have taken on one of the great teams in football, so everything's magnified.
Hagan on the rollout, stands in, throws on the run. He's on target, but so is the hit. George Hemingway, his fullback, had his hands on the ball. And then that hard-hitting free safety, Dale Carter, number 18, came up and popped him and knocked the ball free.
Hagan had an excellent chance of running here. Good fake, pulling his guard, and then you see the hole. And at that point on the field, you don't really want to throw crossing patterns near the end zone because both safety men are in position to make plays. Those kind of passes you want to throw more at midfield where the safeties can't get in on the play.
Not state-of-the-art passing games, at least so far. Only 4 completions between the two teams and 3 interceptions thrown so far. Hagan throwing a fastball. He was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays as a shortstop. Trying to hit Rico Smith, a junior college transfer, breaking over the middle. But as you saw, the pass came in low.
Yeah, they're just, it must be disappointing to Colorado. They had field position, and a score here might make it real tough for Tennessee. But they threw and couldn't complete a ball. And Hagan could have run in each of those instances.
Jim Harper on the field now for Colorado, looking to break the 7-7 tie. A 35-yard field goal attempt is on the way. And the distance and the alignment, it is good. And the Buffaloes from Colorado with 10 unanswered points have taken the lead for the first time. They're up on Tennessee 10-7. Colorado ready to kick the ball off now after taking a 10-7 lead on the 35-yard field goal by Harper. Ball hit downfield, and here comes Carl Pickens. Breaks one tackle, and Pickens trying to outrun the pursuit. He's across the 30 and out to the 35, 40-yard line. They'll spot him out of bounds at the 36. Let's go back down to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Don, I was just listening to the offensive line coach, Mark Bradley, tell his team that they can't try to get everything back at once. They have to have pride, poise, and patience. They just got to keep chipping away. I talked to Chuck Webb. He said there's a lot of running lanes inside. They're not allowing them to go outside, but I guess maybe they're going to have to go to that to get something going right here.
Kelly, a very good passer, and there's his main man in the backfield. Has this been primarily a running game? Chuck Webb. He has scored the touchdown for Tennessee in the first quarter. And the Volunteers led 7-0. Webb, a Colorado doing a better job now of filling, not giving him those gaps to dart into. Greg Biekert, an inside linebacker, hit him. The other inside linebacker for Colorado, Chad Brown, is known for his reptile collection. At his apartment, he has 3 pythons, 2 boa constrictors, 2 iguana lizards, and no roommate.
A real bachelor pad.
They say picture day takes place.
Wow.
Every kid wants, he brings in a picture day, and everybody wants a picture day with snakes. Anthony Morgan takes the ball near the Colorado sideline and gets out to the 41-yard line. It was a 2nd down and 8 play, and he gained about 2 yards.
Well, Dave McCloughan really broke that play up. He read it beautifully, attacked it. He didn't make the tackle, but he broke down the blocking. They were trying to get a screen pass out there. One thing for sure, Tennessee's going to have to get some field position. They're going to have to get the ball past the 50-yard line because Colorado just can't be given a short field in which to score. They've got too much offense.
Andy Kelly will look to go deep. The safeties for Colorado are playing way back, almost to prevent defense. They know it's coming, and here is a throw and a lost ball. Is it caught? We're going to have 2 officials come in and wave it off. Von Reeves, the tight end, had the ball. Very nearly a spectacular grab, but he couldn't hold on.
Wide open receiver. Reeves was totally uncovered, and Colorado just isn't coping with these things very well. But you see in the replay, there's just no one there. And the ball is just a foot too far. They'd have had 15, 20-yard gain.
Now in the punt is Joey Chapman, a freshman who Major says one of the best punting prospects he's ever seen.
Well, there's a heck of a punt.
Down to the 20. Pritchard loses the ball, and Tennessee's on it. The Volunteers of Tennessee get the signal. So Colorado with yet another turnover in this game. Their 4th. This is a team that turned the ball over only 12 times in 11 regular season games a year ago. 2nd best in the nation.
The ball hit the face mask. And that's tough. The first game you can be anxious. That ball was kicked way up in the air, coming straight down. Good coverage. These are the most difficult kind of games for the coaches. The first game against top-flight competition, national ranking on the line.
You have good feelings about this field, don't you, Bill? Your 49ers did well under you here.
We did okay. We really did.
1/7 of 8. There's no crowd in the field. Natural grass field. It's Darian Hagan busted upfield, and Hagan rips it ahead. That's for the highlight reel. I don't think it was a lateral. I think they knocked the ball out of his hands.
I don't know, Don. Forward. I really don't, because last year I recall seeing Colorado Hagan do that way down the field. Right at the last instant after a 15, 20-yard gain. He's coming up the field and such acceleration. Now he's got his pitch. No, he's pitching it. A little dangerous, but I can recall a year ago they made that thing work. I can't remember the game, but they won the game with it.
That'd be Nebraska. That was their only close game till they got to Notre Dame. Steve Hemingway takes the ball out to the 34-yard line. Colorado has to play at Nebraska, at Lincoln this year. And McCartney was saying he thinks Nebraska might have one of the great defenses in the country.
Yeah, that's they've got Oklahoma. Bill McCartney talks of Oklahoma being back for sure. So there's a schedule. You see Oklahoma and Nebraska and Oklahoma State toward the end of the schedule, one after the other. That'll be the whole season right there.
Volunteers have to go to Auburn. Auburn Tigers, the favorite in the Southeastern Conference, as Michael Simmons runs the ball and breaks a crust of tacklers and moves it out to the 44-yard line. So that big offensive front now, Bill, starting to take over the game.
It sure is. You see people being turned, then the big back just breaking through, lowering his head and taking people on.
Well, in Colorado, they did not have the pass offense to come from behind last year. They only trailed twice in the regular season, once to Iowa State 10-7, then they blew out Iowa State with 35-second quarter points, and they were behind Nebraska at one point. Came back to win. And, of course, trailed Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl throughout. Went behind 14-0 in the third quarter and lost 21-6. The Volunteers of Tennessee open following this game their second game against Pacific. Took some of their big dates. September 29th when they go to Auburn, Alabama. October 20th they're at home against Alabama. That was the one team that beat Tennessee last year. November 10th they'll play Notre Dame at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Darian Hagan gets time. He's going to let her rip. Downfield throw, and he's intercepted again. J.J. McCleskey, as Volunteer Roverbacks are just cruising around in the deep secondary, waiting for footballs to come their way, and 3 times Hagan has been right on the numbers, but to the wrong colored jersey.
Well, he's had people open. I know he can see that the receivers are open, and the ball looks beautiful being thrown. You'll see him fake a run, a lot of time, receiver open, and then is thrown over his head. Now, it's just the touch of the throw. Now, whether Darian can ever do that, who knows?
So the Vols have the ball back, trailing by 3.
With extra people to the right, to the wide field, and Hagan will fake and roll out and be in pretty good shape. But this is the man that causes trouble backing into the pass play, and Darian cannot see him and isn't alert for him. You see the fake, dropping back. Now you'll see a defender all the way back right in the hole making the stop. Now that guy really wasn't accounted for, J.J. McCleskey, and Hagan, a frustrated guy, but the stats, 4 completions, 3 interceptions, and that's not going to do for Colorado, and they're going to have to go back to work on it when the game's over, and let's hope it doesn't cost them the game.
Long way to go. We have 5:15 to play in the second quarter. Tennessee with the ball, Colorado in the lead 10-7. Kelly, the junior quarterback, drops to throw, drills it, gets Webb his tailback, and he's going to leave ahead for a gain of close to 10 yards. It'll be very close to a first down. The free safety for the Buffaloes, Greg Thomas, knocked him down. Johnny Majors, the coach of Tennessee, raves about Webb. Of course, Majors had Tony Dorsett at Pittsburgh in 1976 when the Pitt Panthers won the national championship. He thinks Webb is as good a runner as he's ever seen at this stage. Only a sophomore, but as you pointed out, Bill, there are indications from him that he'd like to go for the money next year and go
already.
to the NFL.
Yeah, in a press conference, he said, "I'm going for the money." A little shocking for a sophomore in college.
First down throw, quick out. Pickens makes the reception, and he's defended against quickly by Deion Figures, right cornerback for Colorado.
Tennessee does a great job of coaching pass offense. Walt Harris, the head coach at Pacific now, was the offensive coordinator for years and installed an excellent system of throwing the ball, and that in itself may make a difference here as the day goes on. But both teams with some interceptions, and that's a problem.
10-7 game Colorado after Tennessee had led in the first quarter 7-0. Both teams ranked in every top 10 preseason poll as Webb breaks into open field and takes it inside the 45-yard line of Colorado. Greg Thomas, the last line of defense, the free safety, brought him down. 16-yard gain on the play by Chuck Webb.
Well, the entire defense is spread out, including both safeties. So you don't see a safety man on the scene right now. They're deep covering for the pass. And so it gives Webb a chance to break and then look for people to make him miss. Well-executed play. Both teams show you the potential of having devastating offenses, but both are misfiring just enough to eliminate the scoring part of this thing.
Webb had trouble getting going early, but now he's up to 48 yards on 12 carries. He's running a pattern, and here's a throw over the middle. A perfect strike. With the ball is Alvin Harper, a sensational athlete who's high jumped over 7'2". Caught only 13 balls last year for 19 yards a catch. They're looking to get it to him more. Alvin Harper from Frost-Free, Florida.
Well, he's releasing up the field. Colorado in a zone just doesn't get themselves deep enough. But the major problem here, other than the throw and a catch, is right now Alfred Williams and Canavis McGee are being blocked by the offensive tackles of Tennessee. Consequently, Kelly's getting the protection he needs.
Volunteers on the drive. First meeting ever between Colorado and Tennessee, and here is the Big D coming up to make the play. Inside linebacker number 19, Greg Beekert, and outside backer number 96, Canavis McGee. McGee, another sensational backer. He was coached by one of the great players in NFL history in high school. His coach down in Houston at Wheatley was Kenny Houston, the all-pro safety who's now in the Hall of Fame for the Oilers and the Redskins.
Yeah, what a great one. Knieves also admitted to the tough business school at Colorado, so he's a solid student.
Very aggressive, hard tackler. Good play fake by Andy Kelly, but now he's on the run, gets a block. Running out of time is Andy Kelly as he heads for the 12th man and bails out with the sideline. Gary Howe ran him out. The third down coming up, 3rd and 16.
He could have thrown that one away. I'm sure the coaches will talk to him about it later. There's no need to do that. Just find a way to throw the football away. They took the loss on it. It seems like 2 good plays, 1 bad one for both teams at this point. And this is the problem with taking a game on like this. But Colorado needed the income, $550,000 guarantee. Tennessee is taking the income, $200,000 of it's going to a library on campus. Of course, Tennessee has huge revenue from their huge stadium and great following in that state.
Neyland Stadium holds 91,000. They average almost 94,000 a game. Andy Kelly throwing on the run, and it's incomplete, bringing up 4th down now for Tennessee with 2 minutes and 59 seconds to play in the first half, and Colorado in the lead 10-7. Tennessee led at the end of the first quarter 7-0. Colorado came back to score its 10 points in the second quarter. Greg Burke, long-range field goal kicker, a tremendous kicker. They hit 14 of 16 field goals last year for Tennessee.
You know, Don, I'll bet 4 or 5 weeks from now, if these teams were to play again, they'd both score over 30 points. You can see the offensive potential, but they're misfiring.
Long-range attempt coming up now as it's going to be a 47-yarder by Greg Burke. He drills it. Game is tied. 2:54 to play in the first half, and Burke of Tennessee drills a 47-yard field goal, and the Volunteers come back now to tie the Colorado Buffaloes 10-all.
Splash Mountain.
We have a Disney extravaganza. Of course, it's a very special year for Disney because it's the 35th anniversary of Disneyland. We also have some home videos from some of these players. All that and much, much more coming up at halftime. Don?
All right, this is the first Disneyland Pigskin Classic, as we have Mike Pritchard and Dwayne Davis back deep now. Not used to return kicks. That's always fun, isn't it? Look into that sun and run it back. That is Mike off. Downfield spinner. It's not too deep. Coming up on the ball, though, is Pritchard at the 5-yard line.
Look out. No, there it is. No. He had his chance.
A reminder that we'll be selecting the Disneyland Pigskin Classic Player of the Game at the conclusion of today's telecast.
And then Ahmad can get back to the rides. That's all he wants to do. He loves the one where you get in the car and bump into another car.
There it is, Disneyland from an overhead view from the Goodyear blimp. The offensive coordinator for Colorado, Jerry DiNardo, was a standout guard at Notre Dame. DiNardo played at 260. Now he's down to 200. He's been losing 2 pounds a week. Other 4 years, he'll be gone.
Gee, well, this game won't help that appetite, I'll guarantee you.
Hagan tries to roll out. He's knocked down. Mark Moore got him. Tell you, a big surprise and a pleasant one is this Dale Carter from Oxford, Georgia, and Ellsworth Junior College in Iowa. They just picked him up before this in the offseason. He just enrolled at Colorado or Tennessee, and he's made some major strikes in this game.
Well, he's ideally suited for that job. Big, rangy guy that covers grounds and a slashing hitter. And just watching him, he's directing the secondary back there. I think he's here to stay.
Michael Simmons looking for room up the middle. Darrell Hardy, 215-pound junior linebacker who was Tennessee's top tackler a year ago. He's the man who made the stop. Tennessee gave up some huge yardage amounts, 562 yards to Alabama. There's Jerry DiNardo from Brooklyn, USA.
Jerry needs to take some time. Jerry needs to take some time off that clock. 1:44 to go. If they punt, Tennessee's got a good shot at him because of their passing game.
1:38 to go. 10-10 tie. We're in the second quarter. Darian Hagan on the rollout. Stands in. He drills and overthrows everybody, which was a good move because everybody was covered, and Hagan took a big hit just as he released the ball.
This was a time really for Jerry DiNardo, a fine coach, obviously, to take some more time off the clock. That incomplete pass gave Tennessee 2 or 3 more incomplete passes of their own when they get this ball back. So it was time for Colorado at that point to take time off the clock, run that clock down, don't give Tennessee another possession.
Tom Ruin, an All-American punter in for Colorado, and there's Carl Pickens, a return man for Tennessee. Ruin led the nation last year in punting yardage and net yardage, almost 44 yards a punt net. The NFL leader was 38 and change last year. Landetta, the Giants. Fair catch was signaled for. A 50-yard punt by Ruin.
An incredible punt. Beautiful punt.
It's a good trick if you can get away with it. Signal fair catch and then run.
He had his option out there. I think he forgot he fair caught.
Receiver ran with the ball after signaling for a fair catch. Delay of the game, 5 yards.
Delay of game is the call.
15.
Let's go back down to Ahmad now.
You know, you guys, in this business, I've had a chance to interview a lot of famous people, but I think I've reached the top now. I'm here with Mickey Mouse. Mickey, how you doing? Mickey's doing just fine. Me and Mick gonna hang out a little while. Don, you and Bill eat your heart out.
Mick ain't talking today. Mick is, what, 50 years old now? Or Donald Duck is one of them. First down and 10 for Tennessee. 1:20 to go in the game. First half. Amsler takes it across the 20 and out to the 22-yard line. Johnny Majors, the Tennessee coach, was second in the Heisman Trophy balloting in 1956. Finished just behind Paul Hornung in one of the closest ballots ever. His mother's a great lady. She's 4 feet 10. Has 5 sons. Johnny's the oldest. One time in the Cotton Bowl, he scored a touchdown. Next time he got the ball, he fumbled. And some reporter asked his mother after the game, how'd you feel about the fumble? She said, hey, I'm a good cook, but sometimes I burn the biscuits. First spirited little lady. And here's the throw down the field out to the 28-yard line. Von Reeves, the tight end, made the catch. And the clock continues to tick down now inside a minute to play in the first half, and Colorado signals a timeout.
The Johnny Majors and Bill McCartney, 2 of the real class coaches in football, and we varied our discussion with them from the relations with the NFL, which they have specific ideas on, to where college football is going. One thing in particular, and do I agree, they have to increase the aid, the scholarship aid to the athlete. Is inadequate. The athlete is at a disadvantage on the campus. They recruit an athlete from 2,000 miles away, and then the athlete's expected to provide his own transportation. And we've seen these young men get in some problems, go to agents before they complete their eligibility, those kinds of things. There just isn't enough aid. They can't live socially like other students. And so we wonder why they feel like mercenaries. That's one of the reasons. If they're going to have a program and attract 90,000 or 80,000 fans and people in the community, the aid should be adequate for that athlete because of all the time he puts into the game.
What's the chance of that happening? All the coaches seem to want it, but it doesn't seem to be passed.
Well, it has to happen. They're talking about increased television revenues, super conferences. They're adding bleachers and stands to the stadiums, all these kinds of things, and they're the athletes. The only hope for the athlete is what they call a Pell Grant, where a truly disadvantaged person can get some help. But it should be up to the university to do a better job with the athlete on campus.
Now Tennessee with 61 ticks left on the second quarter clock. Looks to the rollout pass. Andy Kelly fires a strike on the run. Beautifully done. That was 49er football at its best.
That was beautifully done. And Alfred Williams, number 94, was circumvented. Now he looks a little fatigued, this great athlete. He allowed himself to be hooked to the inside, and consequently Kelly got outside to throw the ball. They're going to have
Alvin
to
Harper
be,
makes the catch.
or they're going to have to be done. They're going to have to be much more alert on defense. You see him get outside of Williams right there. That gives him all the time he needs. Beautiful throw, excellent catch.
You only need 1 foot in college football, unlike the NFL, where both have to be in after the catch. Kelly throws to his tight end, Mark Adams, who just flowed out to the far sideline and took the ball, got out of bounds. 47 seconds left to play.
You see, the half would be over now, Don, had Colorado used up time when they had their last possession. One running play most likely would have ended all of this. But here we are, Tennessee driving. If they can get another 15 yards, they've got 3 points with their field goal kicker.
You get the long-range hitter, Greg Burke, hit a 47-yarder to tie the game. Kelly gets time, and again, he has a man drifting under the Colorado zone. This time it's his fullback, Greg Hamsler.
That simply took 6 seconds off the clock. Now, Colorado's in a bind. If they get up too tight into coverage to take away the short passing, there's always a chance of something down the field for 6 points. So this is a tough spot for Colorado, and again, they could have averted it by using more time on their last possession. You see it in the NFL too, Don, so there's no reflection on the coaching here. The NFL people are doing the same kind of things.
What level do you rate Andy Kelly at?
Oh, I think he's a good player. He reminds me of Steve Dills, who I coached at Stanford. Good, solid journeyman.
He's really starting to connect now as Kelly again searches out the open receiver and finds it in Greg Hamsler. A big fullback who takes it inside the 35-yard line and down to the 32, and the game clock is down to 32 seconds to play, and Tennessee takes a timeout. The Toyota top 10 at the outset of the season. The UPI coaches poll, Miami of Florida, the defending national champion, rating number 1. Notre Dame number 2. Florida State number 3. Notre Dame plays Miami this year at South Bend. Florida State plays Miami at Miami. The War Eagles from Auburn, Alabama, rated number 4, and Colorado number 5. The Trojans of Southern California number 6. Michigan under its new coach Gary Moeller is number 7. Nebraska, Dr. Tom Osborne with another powerhouse team in Lincoln. Tennessee number 9 coming in, but there's a number of preseason polls, I think 15 all told, and 2 of them Colorado was rated number 1. Coach Majors said he doesn't like to talk about national championships, but he thinks this team, coming off an 11-1 year with all the big play players back, has as good a chance as any he's ever had.
You know, the playoff system most likely won't be accepted by the academic world. And totally, I understand that and I agree with it 100%. But they do need another method of ranking teams. And a game like this might eliminate one of them. Another problem is they rank teams related to score. So if you beat somebody 50-0, you're supposed to be better. So whatever ranking they have should not include scores. It should be a 1-point victory. 50-point is who you beat, who you win over.
Good point. The only way you could go with it is with computer if you didn't go with a vote of writers or coaches. And here's an open man in the end zone, and picking the ball off is Dave McCloughan. And McCloughan is out of bounds as he stops must have been trying to take time off the clock. In his wisdom, he started running about the end zone.
That's an interesting call. I haven't seen that. We talked about it. Was he making an effort to get out of that end zone?
Apparently they really stepped out of bounds because Colorado's offense is coming out. It's not a safety.
Now this ball just
he was just trying to take time off the clock.
Into nowhere, I guess.
Well, this kid's had a great game with a broken nose and all.
Now what is this? I guess they know what they're doing. I'm not familiar with the
Tim
college
James,
scores.
the strong safety who got that one. McCloughan had one earlier. The Volunteer fans booing, but the Tennessee drive has stopped, and now Colorado, with 21 seconds left on the first half clock, takes over the ball.
I assume they'll run it out and just hold on. But you know that ranking system, Don, they need some kind of a computerized formula to rate teams, rate conferences, and not accounting for scores. If you beat someone by a point, it's comparable to beating by 30. So you don't see people pouring it on so they can get better national rankings. But they need something like that.
Hopefully there'll be an answer to the pouring it on.
You're right.
Not good for the game, and right now the first half runs out. It's a standoff through the first 30 minutes of play. Colorado 10, Tennessee 10, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
The Disneyland Pigskin Classic. We're at halftime here where the score is Colorado 10, Tennessee 10 after a very hard-fought first half. Now, what we told you a little bit earlier is a halftime show that Disney has all ready to perform here. It is the 35th anniversary of Disneyland, and they have a varying those on videos right after these messages.
Tradition by matching two of college football's hottest teams.
National skills you will see in today's Pigskin Classic. They're also teachers off the field, responsible for molding student athletes into mature adults who will make valuable contributions to society and serve as positive role models in their communities. Many of these hard-working coaches will benefit from today's game because some of the proceeds will go to the American Football Coaches Retirement Trust to supplement contributions made by individual coaches enrolled in the program. The trust was created by the American Football Coaches Association in 1987. It gives college coaches an opportunity to secure their future and the future of their families. And we're proud of the AFCA's role in the development of this program. University presidents and athletic directors supported legislation to create this game. We are grateful to them and appreciate the opportunity provided by the Pigskin Classic to help the profession and to make a great game better.
But now both of these teams had tremendously successful seasons last year. And with that success came the anticipation and the excitement of starting this season. But what they've been in training camp for the last month, having two-a-day practices, and there hasn't been a lot of time for fun. Well, 2 days ago, they had a lot of fun. They had a chance to go to Disneyland, and they took their video cameras. So now we'll get a chance to see what Disneyland looks like through the eyes of some of these players.
Nice on you, John. Nice to see you.
I'm here. How you doing? We're going this way. We're on our way to Matterhorn. We're in Matterhorn. I get the right seatbelt on, sir. Wave! Wave!
This is a buffalo nest. Who's gonna win? Tennessee! Go see you! Go see you! Didn't work. Oh, you're in Disneyland! Smile, you're on Pearl's camera! Say hi to Mom! Hi, Mom, what's up? This is Splash Mountain, where little kids get wet. We're gonna get wet! No!
So what did you think about that? Oh, that was scary.
They got towel.
This is what a day at Disneyland is all about, right here.
Not only did in this environment only fostered my ambitions, I guess I could say. And in turn, I guess I gave the university a chance to say, look at this person. She is an example of how you can come here as a nothing and leave here as somebody.
But Eddie Robinson was a great proponent of not making mistakes. That's how he turned out all those great Grambling winners over the years. And this has been a game of mistakes, Bill, albeit between two of the best teams in the country. Is it nerves, or are they just misfiring, and what is it?
Well, they've practiced, and against each other, they seem to be able to get these things done. But with the intensity of the game, the anxiety, the pressure, the heat of a constant approaching football team, they're making mistakes. I think the key will be that team that makes the fewest mistakes in the second half will come out of it and hold their national ranking.
Well, that's General Neyland's main rule of winning football, a great Tennessee coach. The team that makes the fewest mistakes wins. Would you buy that?
Well, I'll buy it. Now, the passing of Kelly, he eliminates mistakes. He can move the ball at will throwing. Now, Hagan, if they can eliminate their passing, I guess, but if they eliminate that and reduce their mistakes, they can win it.
Well, Hagan's not thrown the ball well. He has run the offense well. It's a tie game as we're ready to start the third quarter. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station. First time these two schools have ever met. And now let's take a look at the Coors Light halftime stats. Well, we see the numbers and strongly in favor of the Buffaloes when it comes to running the ball, but they could not pass for much yardage, and Kelly threw the ball, Bill, 20 times in the first half.
He did a fine job. He was in sync at one point, 5 for 5. But when we see turnovers, 4 and 2, for these are the kinds of well-coached teams that have very few, it demonstrates the stress they're under, the anxiety, but also the competition. First game of the year, nationally ranked competition, and they're both sort of suffering the effects of it.
It's interesting, when we met with the Tennessee coaches yesterday and they were talking about their game plan, you said to them, it looks to me like you're going to end up throwing the ball 35 or 40 times. They said, we hope not, but they're halfway there. They've thrown 20 times in the first half.
I think they'll do it.
Let's go back down now to Ahmad, who's going to be joined by Bill McCartney, the Colorado Buffalo head coach.
Bring it down. Athletes that make a difference and care, they're going to play hard.
Chuck Webb with 46 yards, leading all rushers in the first half.
He can go. Isn't any question about it. And hate to just keep remarking on it, but the turnovers have done it. If either one of these teams can get through the next 30 minutes without a turnover, they most likely will win the game.
Colorado had almost had a third as many turnovers in the first half as they had in 11 games last season. They had 12 in 11 games. They had 4 in the first half.
Well, they want to develop that passing game. They were determined to do it, to remind their fans, their students, including Elizabeth Walsh, by the way, their student.
That's right.
Hope she's got her room clean back there.
Your lovely daughter.
But they wanted to demonstrate they could throw the ball, and they haven't demonstrated it, unfortunately. People are open. The design is good. You can see they're executing, but the throwing itself by Hagan isn't up to par.
Bill McCartney, as they raise their helmets in that tribute to their fallen leader of a season ago, the departed Sal Onesi. Bill McCartney turned 50 on Wednesday, so he's now playing the back nine.
Well, he's got... but
his arm...
Where am I, on the 17th? Well, he's got a 15-year contract.
That's right.
To stay right there, and deservingly so.
Joey Chapman kicks it off. Dwayne Davis runs it back for Colorado, and he's out to the 23-yard line. The ambition of this Colorado team to play Notre Dame again in the 1991 Orange Bowl. They'd like that to happen, but Colorado has work ahead, not the least of which comes in Lincoln, Nebraska, against the Huskers.
No question about that. Oklahoma's back. Nebraska. They've even got Stanford.
He was hiring his phrase of Oklahoma State.
He was. They don't like Oklahoma State. Bill said that Oklahoma State just doesn't respect Colorado.
Doesn't fear him.
Doesn't fear him at all. And they'll be good. Unbalanced line again.
Tie game, 1st and 10 Colorado. 10-10 game as we open the third quarter from scrimmage. Here comes Hagan, pitching back. And terrific open field tackling. Dale Carter, playing his first game for Tennessee, looks like a first-team All-American at free safety.
That Carter is just what they're looking for. Junior college or not, you'll see the unbalanced line, just two people on this side and the strength to the wide field. And this time they wanted to run the option play into that short side, but you're going to get some hitting right from here that makes one big difference. You see Carter coming all the way through, bang, right down the middle.
Throw up the middle of tight end John Bowman, and Colorado on a second down and 11 play is ahead for a first down. Let's meet Eddie Robinson, college football's winningest coach all time now, as we go back down to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Don. I am here with the winningest coach in the history of college. You had to say one thing that was the key to your success. What would it be?
Well, I think it's could be concern, could be love for the football players and the love for the game, and always trying to get the knowledge to take it back to the team.
All right, thanks, Coach, and congratulations to you. Good luck. Let's go back upstairs.
George Hemingway, as Coach Robinson was talking about winning football, displayed some, but it's coming back. There's a flag down. It would have been a 62-yard run from scrimmage, but a penalty marker negates the play, and so Colorado brings the ball back, and instead of 6, they now will go long yardage. First and 15.
They ran an inside play, and the weak safety Carter came out of the middle, getting ready to stop the option. There was nobody back there once Hemingway broke.
Holding, offense, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
Well, that was a fortunate thing for Tennessee. You see some holding by, it appears, Vanderpool, number 72, has got an arm out and sort of hooking. The flag came down right in that area, so that could very well have been it.
Coach Majors pacing the sidelines. He was ready to play the game last night. I mean, he was so keyed up. He was ready to suit up and go in on kickoff coverage.
He just wanted people to talk to. This really meant a lot to him.
Rolling out is Darian Hagan. He had the bruised knee in the first half, but appears to be all right. He also had the 3 interceptions. There was also a fumble by Colorado in the first half. Tackled by Ernest Fields, outside linebacker for Tennessee.
So much of the Colorado offense is called at the line. They just count the number of defenders on either side of the ball and know where they're supposed to run. At this point, with that unbalanced line, it seems like Tennessee's unprotected to their right, and yet they're stopping everything that Colorado does over there.
Second down and 17 in this tie game as Hagan takes a deep drop, throws downfield. He's got a man, and a play is broken up. Rico Smith running a fly, a perfect on-target throw by Darian Hagan, and J.J. McCleskey, a cornerback, got a tip of a finger on the ball and knocked it away. Would have been the play of the game.
That just didn't have quite enough trajectory on it, so it was a flat throw, and McCleskey just got there in time. That was 6 points. Well executed, called just at the right time. The ball had just a flat enough trajectory that McCleskey could get a hand on it.
Hagan's passing numbers not good, but his confidence not down as he comes back and throws the long one. Mark Henry now in at wide receiver brings in the play. Third down and 17. A blitz is on, and Hagan with his great speed eludes it. Now throws on the run and makes the connection, but it's short of a first down. The game is out to the 44-yard line of Colorado, and their punting unit comes out about 4 yards short of a first down.
All the parts are there. It's just getting them in sync. That time Hagan was outside. Blocking was extremely effective. The play call good, but then the ball was thrown low and short. Receiver had nowhere to run with it. He had to go to a knee to catch it.
Tom Ruin, a free spirit who punts the ball, is better than anybody in the country last year for Colorado. Southern California, there are 39 players on the Colorado roster who are from the Southern California area. Carl Pickens is back deep for Tennessee, a player that Johnny Majors calls the best athlete he's ever coached. A threat to go the distance every time he gets the ball. And here's Pickens, hemmed in and going nowhere. He's taken down at the 20. John Bowman came down the tight end to make the tackle on special teams. 38-yard punt, 1-yard return.
Did you?
Opening day. They've been practicing hard, too, as have the volunteer cheerleaders. And right now, they'll look for Tennessee to try to open it up. In this 10-10 game, Kelly will be throwing soon. If not now, first he goes to the run. Webb takes it to the 24-yard line. Leonard Renfro, a 285-pound redshirt freshman defensive tackle, number 99. They think he's going to be a real standout.
He's another. They just get some great athletes. Both of these programs, both schools wanted this game. One reason, recruiting. Neither have the population base in their state. They get some excellent players, but not enough. So Tennessee with 22 states represented, Colorado with 20 states represented by their football team.
Chuck Webb runs, and he is taken down. Going right at him was Howe, a defensive end. Number 95, Gary Howe from Spencer, Iowa.
6 feet, 275. Can you imagine fitting him out for a black tie outfit? 6 feet, 275. They'd have to get the...
I tell you, it's astounding, Bill, how big players are, aren't they? I mean, 10 years ago, these guys would dwarf anything you see in the NFL.
We talked to Anton Davis. He thinks that he weighs about 310. He feels he's 250 to 255 naturally. The rest is weight training.
Long ball. Well, it's weight well carried because Anton Davis can run the 40 in 4.9, which is beyond belief.
He's an excellent student, too. I haven't seen a better prospect than this man. I believe he'll be one of the top 5 men picked in the draft.
Along with
Alfred Williams. There's another one. And there are any number of people. McCray, the opposite tackle, 6'7", 291, 30-inch vertical reach. That's unbelievable.
Joey Chapman, the freshman punter, hits it downfield now for Colorado. It's taken by Pritchard, and he is going to advance the ball to the 45-yard line. Buffaloes get the ball back and in good field position when we come back to the Pigskin Classic.
They're bigger than ever.
Blimp Columbia looms high over Anaheim Stadium, where the Colorado Buffaloes and the Volunteers of Tennessee in the opening college game of the 1990 season are tied up 10-10 with 10 minutes and 58 seconds to play in the ball game. We're now in the third quarter. Darian Hagan at quarterback for Colorado. Give up the middle. Trap blocking, springs. Mike Pritchard, he could take it the distance as Pritchard's going in. And Colorado breaks it and takes the lead.
Pritchard can run. Wow. Once he reached full stride, Carter couldn't even get close to him. And you've seen this coming up. They've been running that unbalanced line, that option play, and they split that defense right down the middle. Now, the coaches saw something because they knew just what they were doing. I know I couldn't see it. I kept wondering why they were running the option, and they set up that inside play.
Colorado breaks the deadlock and now looks to take a 7-point lead, and they get it as the extra point is hit up and good. Colorado down 7-0 after the first quarter. Now leads Tennessee 17-10.
You see people overrunning the play. And there's a missed tackle. I believe the strong safety missed the tackle. But that speed really paid off.
It's interesting, Bill. The starting defensive tackles for Tennessee were out on that play, given a break, and Colorado goes the distance. Austin for 55 yards and a touch, and that's the lead now for Colorado, a 7-point advantage. As the kickoff goes downfield, and here is Carl Pickens. Caution, don't bring it out. Much as he wanted to, his running mate back there. And you got to have people talking to you, don't you, Bill, when you're returning kicks?
You know, he almost came out of there with that. Way down the field. He wanted to make something happen. Now, Tennessee is going to naturally keep their poise and just execute plenty of time. But no more turnovers.
Last year, Colorado had over 30 plays of over 40 yards in length. They were a big play team, and that's one reason Coach McCartney said we're optimistic this year. All our big play people are back. Tennessee coach Johnny Majors told us yesterday, I don't believe you can win a championship without throwing the ball.
That's true. I agree with him. No question about it. There'll be tough games all year, and there'll be times when you have to throw and throw effectively. It may turn out this way in this game, certainly for Tennessee.
David Bennett, a defensive back, helped off the field for Tennessee. First down and 10 for the Volunteers. They go to Webb. The Colorado defense keys on him as Canavis McGee at 6'5", 250 pounds, an outside backer, one of the H boys. He and Williams have known each other since they've been freshmen in high school in Houston. It's the H boys, the Houston boys. Some say it's the H boys because they're the hit boys.
All of the above. Canavas was not blocked on that play. Now, you can't expect to make any yardage not blocking a man like that coming around from the outside.
Second down and 7 now for Tennessee. Andy Kelly takes a look, swings it out. Nicely fielded by his running back, Chuck Webb, but the defense was there. David Gibbs, number 15, a cornerback, knocked him down.
Critical down, they all are on third down, but again, if Colorado gets a possession near midfield, they're going to be trouble. Tennessee's just going to have to sustain something, at least get the ball to midfield before they punt.
Last season, Tennessee averaged just over 6 yards on every first down attempt. They got almost 6 on that play. Major's a big believer that first down sets up all the rest of your play calls.
That goes back 40, 50 years of football.
Now there's a timeout signal on the field. 9:45 to play in the third quarter, and Colorado leads by 7.
But it's not right now.
It's the right thing now.
Definitely not now.
Coors Light, it's the right thing now.
And absolutely, positively not now.
Get you anything else? No, I've had enough. Let me call you a cab. Yeah, good idea.
You guys aren't supposed to be in here.
Hey, no problem, Honorable Dojo guy.
But this is an airport, Tom.
We're the auto lights, guaranteed in any language. Sayonara.
Nurse, can I get you something?
Nothing, honey.
We don't have time for these little games, Mr. Edwards.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey.
No, you nurse.
Crunch.
Summer's biggest outdoor bash from Miller Lite U.S. Beach Volleyball Championships next Saturday on NBC.
Well, see, I've had a chance to interview Mickey Mouse since I've been here. I thought I'd not take another chance to interview Ralphie.
Or eat one. Third down and 5. Andy Kelly throws an out pattern. Tight end Von Rees makes a diving play on the ball, and they rule the reception. And Tennessee has a first down.
If they keep that up, I think they can just control the ball. Just throwing short between defenders. Both outside guys, these great athletes, Williams and McGee, aren't intensely rushing when they rush. Maybe it's fatigue or whatever. But if they were ever to be in the NFL, they'd have to give a little more of it than that. They're going to have to explode up that field.
First down and 10. Tennessee Volunteers down by 7 with 9:25 to play in the third quarter. Webb breaks it. He gets about 13 yards out to the 43-yard line. And the Vols rip off a big gainer. Dave McCluen finally ran him out of bounds.
This is great exposure for both clubs. And as we mentioned, Don, the recruiting is a big factor for both of them out of state. And you mentioned, was it 38 athletes from Southern California on the Colorado team. So they like this exposure, and they're both national contenders, and everybody gets a chance to look at them.
Chuck Webb, the great runner for Tennessee, is from Toledo, Ohio. He's now gained 61 yards on 17 carries. One of his great attributes is durability. As the game wears on, he gets stronger. He likes all the carries he can get. All SEC as a freshman. He and Emmitt Smith were the top tailbacks in the Southeastern Conference.
You know, the fatigue factor can show here because both coaches had to temper their practices, get a lot done, and at the same time prepare for a game. So who was to say if people's legs were a little bit weary, trying to do both sort of concurrently? So as the game goes with this heat, people fatigue, and that's when a Webb can tear it wide open.
Kelly whips it up for grabs. An open field play on the ball. It is dropped. It was almost intercepted. Then Anthony Morgan almost made the catch. Kelly living dangerously with a long ball that hung.
That's two. There's two. The one before half cost him at least 3 points. And those seem harmless, but desperation can't demonstrate itself this way. This is how a quarterback would be desperate. He'd just throw it up and hope something good happened. And I'm sure the coaches are, really be concerned about that in the future. You can't do it. You always have to practice where to throw it away and how to do it.
Tennessee coming off an 11-1 year, and they return 9 offensive starters. Only a wide receiver and a tackler missing from the season ago. Kelly throws, another connection. This time it's over the midfield line to Anthony Morgan. A first-team USA All-American, USA Today All-American team when he came out of Adams High School in Cleveland.
Kelly came outside. It's so tough for the quarterback to go to his left and throw the ball. You see people chasing him. He's in deep trouble. He's got to get that right shoulder back and throw the ball. Most vulnerable, going left and then trying to throw a ball right-handed.
Now Dave McClellan is back for the Tennessee punt. 4th and 3. Hunter Joey Chapman, the freshman, getting the call today. They might go to Kelly if Chapman had any problems, but he's been good. Here's McClellan, broken nose and all. And he's out to the 18-yard line. A 37-yard punt, a 5-yard return, and NBC.
Pointing seasons a year ago, and they're going to meet each other. It's virtually unknown. Haven't played each other very often.
After a holding penalty, Colorado runs some scrimmage, and Pritchard, who took it 55 yards for a touchdown on his previous carry, gets ahead to the 16-yard line. A gain of about 7 yards on the play. Defensive tackle Mark Moore on the stop.
You know, they label this offense the eye bone. It's a little different than the wishbone. And the advantage of the eye bone with a deeper tailback is you can have cutback plays as well as the option play. So in that case, they ran an eye bone where the back started left and bent around to the right. And at this point, Tennessee's starting to fatigue a little bit, it looks like to me.
Temperature in the low 80s. Bright sunny day in Southern California as George Hemingway, who scored Colorado's first touchdown to culminate a 19-play drive, is knocked down by Casey Rogers.
The eye bone formation developed here. You see 3 backs deep. Normally there'd be another back right in that spot, but they put him at the tailback spot. So now they can still have the eye cutback play. That is a major feature of that style offense. Very unique and gives full dimension to the running game.
And the running game it is again now for Colorado, and good yardage is Pritchard. Not big, 5'11", 180, but good leg drive carries him out for a first down out to the 25-yard line.
A critical spot for Tennessee right now. Very critical, because the running game for Colorado is starting to wear people down, and now they know which plays to call. Early in the game, they were sort of experimenting as to attacking this defense. Now they have an idea what they want to do.
Colorado with a 17-10 lead and the ball. Here's Darian Hagan, their all Big 8 quarterback, who takes it to the 30-yard line and gains 4. Darryl Hardy, the man assigned to shadow him, made the stop.
You see people on the Tennessee team getting up a little slowly.
One of their best players is not getting upfield. Mark Moore, defensive tackle, is down.
Injured player is Mark Moore.
Well, taking this game on was a semi-risk by both clubs because their ranking would be affected, because they wanted to get their team ready for a complete season, including a later bowl game. But we had an injury in this particular case that may or may not be serious. They're not looking at a leg, which is fortunate. Now, this is where the problem is, right here. So you'll see the ball snap, and people begin to move, and we will just get a look here. Working there, caught right behind the leg. You see right behind it, like it was hyperextended. But it didn't look like a turning of a knee. So the way he's walking off the field, we may see him again.
Mark Moore, rated the best defensive lineman of the Volunteers, 275-pound senior from Charleston, West Virginia. So Colorado putting up some big numbers now, Bill, in a rush game.
227 yards. This is the kind, they'll get 350 before the day's out. Tennessee has to combat that with ball control passing, and then Webb making a big play.
Volunteers fired up. Sean Walker comes on the linebacker shoot into the gap, makes the hit on George Hemingway. Volunteers freed the ball, but it was ruled down.
Both these clubs had real problems with taking this game on because so many untried players. Now you just see penetration all the way through the defense and really never got on track. guess so.
3rd down and 7 arises now for Colorado. Darian Hagan flanks out 2 receivers. On the roll, Hagan throws, makes the connection. The ball is jarred free. It could be Tennessee's. They're ruling it incomplete. Darrell Hardy, number 87, not a big linebacker at 214 pounds, but he's an impact hitter. Very close to a catch and a fumble.
Boy, there's some hitting. There is character on both of these teams. You see him moving across the formation. Now, this is strictly a case of a back in the flat, not looking quickly enough, and then being tagged. The fundamental tackling and blocking of both clubs is outstanding, and you'd expect that. They have 2 of the finest coaching staffs in the game.
Good second look. Our producer today for NBC Sports is John Faratzis. Our director, John Gonzalez. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. As we have 5:39 to play in the 3rd quarter, and Colorado's All-American Tom Ruin is ready to punt. Al Pickens is back deep for the Vols, who trail by 7. Ball angles out of bounds, and the Vols take over in good field position. They'll start at their 41-yard line. The Tennessee running game has been less productive as the game wears on. They could go to the pass often now. Colorado 17, Tennessee 10. 3rd quarter, 5:32 to play in it. Don Criqui with Bill Walsh and Ahmad Rashad at the first Disneyland Pigskin Classic. Opening game of the college season, as good as advertised. 2 teams who hope to challenge for the national title this year. Colorado in white holding to a 7-point lead as Chuck Webb, top back for Tennessee, runs the ball ahead on a 1st down for about 2 yards.
Tennessee, it would appear to me, should be throwing on 1st down and running on 2nd down. Because Colorado on 2nd down will be playing more pass, gives Webb some room to run. But that 1st down I formation stuff against this defense is going to be tough to make work.
Buffalo's made some adjustments after Tennessee really got a lot of yards running the ball early in the game. Good play fake by Andy Kelly. Open man, and Pickens short arm the ball.
Yeah, he thought there'd be a man right there, and there wasn't. That's the most embarrassing thing. You think you're going to get hit as you touch the ball, and there's nobody within 10 yards. And he won't want to view that with his teammates after the game, and he probably won't do it again this year. There's the play. Look, he sort of just feels there's somebody there. Yeah. He won't do that again. That's a lesson well learned early game.
If there is somebody there, it can be about next Wednesday. You remember what happened.
Tennessee spread all over the field.
On 3rd down and 8 for the Vols. Out pattern to Alvin Harper, who is really almost a safety release receiver. Very secondary receiver. They were covered deep.
Well, Andy Kelly didn't use his own instincts on that play. He had all the room he needed running right up the middle. And at this point, he has yet to really unload down the field running with the ball. And Colorado's running past him. So my guess is the coaches will say, next 3rd down, if you see a hole, take it and run with it.
Big game could be on the line as Tennessee's Johnny Majors is going to go for it on 4th down and 1.
Now, this is the big play of the game, obviously. Larry Lacewell, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee, one of the most colorful, capable coaches in the game. He was the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma, became expert on the wishbone. Then at Arkansas State, offensively, they ran it. So he's the guru of wishbone football around the country. Bill McCartney considers Lacewell such an expert, he's gone to Arkansas State when he coached there and asked him questions. Is a real student of Lacewell's. So that's one of the reasons that Tennessee defense is holding up well today with all those younger players in it.
Apparently getting his mug on TV is not high on Coach Lacewell's agenda. He would seem to be hiding it. Check out Ahmad and see what he's up to on the sidelines.
You are looking at the left ankle of Mark Moore. Mark said he just had a little bit of a slight sprain, and also the tape was a little bit too tight. He's had his shoe off. He had his ankle retaped. He said he is going back into the football game.
Well, they need all the hands they can get.
there's an interesting possibility here also, Bill Walsh, and that is that Kelly's a punter, and he could very well punt from a shotgun formation.
Well, they were practicing it. That's right. That's the old General Neyland philosophy, and Johnny Majors has hung with it and had great success with that philosophy.
They go to the run on 4th and 1, and Chuck Webb dives over the Colorado defensive front, and he has a first down for Tennessee.
He had two great blocking backs in front of him, Amsler and Poles. And Poles 42 is considered the best blocker on the team. You can't see them there, but they just sort of cleared things out and let Webb go over the top. They were really sure of themselves on that one. Really sure of themselves. No questions.
This is the centennial year of Tennessee football. Colorado centennial year a season ago. They're now in their second century of football on the intercollegiate level. As Amsler, the big back, runs the ball ahead for a first down. Tennessee on 1st and 10 goes to fullback Greg Amsler. Both hands on the ball. He's strictly a slant runner. Not a lot of cutback moves, but a lot of power, and he's ahead for a first down for the Vols.
He's a Tom Rathman type fullback that once they get their head of steam up, they're really tough to stop from falling forward. So they're always going to get that extra yard. And they're just deceptive enough to be dangerous.
It's high praise from you. Rathman of the 49ers is some fullback.
He's a great player. Of course, he's got a pretty good guy playing alongside him, Roger Craig.
Movement on the left side of the Tennessee offensive front. Looked like Charles McCray, one of their... We talked earlier about the Battlefield Commission that Coach Majors said he gave Andy Kelly last season in the midst of the Alabama game. And Tennessee was struggling on offense. They didn't win that game, but they came back to win 6 games the rest of the way and not lose any, including the Cotton Bowl, with Kelly at quarterback. Now they go to a draw play, and Chuck Webb breaks it ahead. On the 1st and 15 play, he gets almost 10 yards.
Well, Colorado not well schooled in rush lanes for the passer because their practice against the run are all coming up the field so hard, taking the outside of the blocker and just open that path right down the middle. These are excellent calls by the Tennessee staff. Their play calling is exemplary, really. Phil Fulmer, the offensive coordinator, is very knowledgeable, got a good control of this offense.
Second down and 6 for Tennessee in the third quarter. Vols down by 7. Back to Webb as he takes the ball for his 22nd carry of the game. He's up to 80 yards running it.
The key now will be no self-destruct. They're in scoring territory. If they can get 3 out of this, they're making progress. But they've got to get points on this drive. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Have to get points on this drive.
Game winding down. 2:33 to play in the third quarter. Halftime, it was tied 10-10. Tennessee scored first in the game. Led 7-0. Colorado came back to take a 10-7 lead. Tied at halftime 10-all. Now Colorado in the lead, 17-10. Option play, and Kelly takes the full brunt of Deion Figures, the right cornerback.
Deion was there. And Kelly's problem, he came out on that option too fast. So he really wasn't in control. It's a major hit.
You can hear that.
That's what the coaches tell him to do. You know, Deion Figures beat out David Gibbs, a fine defensive back. And the reason, I guess, is just pure athletic ability. It showed right there.
Figures a big corner. He's 6 feet, 195 pounds, and he put all 195 on Kelly. Apparently he's all right. An equipment adjustment. Andy Kelly was a parade All-American playing at Dayton, Tennessee. 59% thrower last year, 6-0 as a starter.
You know, Don, he's the first quarterback Tennessee's produced for the University of Tennessee since, I think the year was 1964, so ages ago. While Tennessee's produced a lot of excellent offensive linemen. He's a...
Tim McGee of the Bengals. Anthony Miller of San Diego. Galt now at the Raiders, drafted #1 by the Bears. Look at these guys.
And they're all speed guys.
Sam Grady, Olympic gold medal winner, now at the Raiders. Thomas Woods with the Dolphins. And who can forget, and he's still active with the New England Patriots, are now with the Indianapolis Colts, Stanley Morgan.
All speed guys. and you give the coaches a lot of credit for developing their skills and then identifying them, giving them a chance to use their skills. Well, critical call here. 4th down, what, 3? I guess they are. They're going to go for it.
4th down and 3 it is. With 2:06 to go in the 3rd quarter, Tennessee down by 7. They connected on 4th and 1. This is a much more difficult play call. They need 3 yards for the 1st down. Kelly could roll. Andy Kelly on the rollout, open. Pickens drops the ball. Pickens with 2 big drops in this game. He was wide open.
Wide open. And he would have made 15, 20 yards. Nobody was near him because he was running one direction. Everybody else was running the other direction. And again, he didn't reach out and get the big part of the ball. Now, there's a pick play right there. That's not very nice, where one defender is sort of blocking out somebody, but he just didn't. Took his eye off the ball. That's twice now. All that athletic ability means very little when those kind of things happen.
But there's a long way to go, and Carl Pickens may yet make the big play. Tennessee might need one unless they can get in the end zone soon. And they're down by 7, losing a golden opportunity down close. Michael Simmons runs the ball across the 30 on 1st down. Tackled by Ernest Fields.
Now the Tennessee team is really playing for that guard tackle pull play we spoke of earlier. They're really attacking it, and Rodgers, number 99, just went underneath the guard and tackle, cut it all off. So there isn't a defensive adjustment to something that was working early in the game.
The Buffaloes from Boulder, Colorado have a bigger offensive line than the Broncos from Denver. Mike Pritchard, straight ahead carry on 2nd down and 7. Got a couple. 3rd and 5 call coming up. Colorado with a 7-point lead. Probably looking to run the clock as best they can with the running game.
Well, that's what they'll do. The passing has been disappointing, and they'll regroup when they get back home. But right now they've got the talent. That offensive line, Joe Gardner, consensus All-American, 280 pounds. A bench presses 470 pounds. Great strength. Just typical of this program.
If he gets any stronger, he could hurt somebody out there. Pritchard breaks into open field. You'll remember he went 55 yards for a Colorado touchdown. Jeremy Lincoln stops him, but not until Pritchard gains 14 yards.
Again, using an unbalanced line, they stretched the defense, and inside people were cut off. Moore, with his bad ankle, was one of them that was cut off. So when things went to the outside, you'll see everything stretching this way, but people not going there, so the ball cut right back between them. So you'll see Moore getting caught with that bad ankle, and he can't get out of there. Now there's the hole, and number 74 would have been there.
Hagan doesn't get much. Our NBC statistician, Elliot Kalb, totaling some handsome numbers for Pritchard. 12 carries, 113.
Not bad. Bieniemy will want to get back in there pretty quick. That's for sure. They possess a lot of real quick people. A lot of them are Californians. But Denny Green at Stanford would like some of that speed. He's got Colorado next week.
Is that right?
Yeah. He's
where?
In Boulder.
Well, they were 6-0 at Folsom last season. Opponents called it Folsom Field. They called it Folsom Prison because this Colorado defense made prisoners out of every offense that went in there. So the Buffaloes lead after 3 by 7. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Prove to themselves they can come back, because against Notre Dame they didn't. They caved in.
Hagan on 2nd down, runs for short yardage. It was a 2nd and 6 play, and he's ahead for 2 at the most. Ernest Fields, an outside linebacker, ran him down. Yep, McCartney was very open about that. He said we did not have the maturity to come back from the disappointment at halftime.
Well, it was so new to them that I did that broadcast, if you remember. I was tense, so I can imagine with all my years' experience how Colorado felt in the Orange Bowl against Notre Dame. And when they didn't score in the first half, they were frustrated and lost their concentration. I think they learned from it.
Hagan on 3rd down runs the ball, and it looks like Tennessee caught him short of the 1st down. It'll bring up 4th and short.
Now they have to decide what to do. Don't be surprised if Bill McCartney doesn't go for it. Looks like he is. And it's more than a yard, isn't it, Don? It's really...
Yeah, it's a little over a yard.
You know, it's a distance. If Tennessee can get this break, they've got field position.
They got a touchdown in a short yardage play like this, you'll remember, with Hemingway, the upback, the fullback, running a slant left. He leads the blocking, and over the top and ahead for what appears to be the first down. It's Mike Pritchard, the game's leading rusher.
With that great leaping ability, he just took off. Just went through the air for the first down, it appears. And they got it.
Pritchard called on to start for suspended Eric Bieniemy. He's been sensational in this game.
Well, that depth in the Colorado offensive scheme is so helpful because when Bieniemy returns, they're going to have enough guys to really stay fresh. And even Charles Johnson, the backup quarterback, can run with the ball effectively.
Bieniemy reduced to a sideline cheerleader, but he's been here all week. Hemingway takes 2 and then 3 hits and drives ahead on first down to the 35-yard line.
Well, the offensive people on both teams are so active, and that time Vanderpool pulled from here through. They got the full pull, and they get people in front of the ball carrier. Right up inside, good trap right there. And I believe that was Heasley that really did the trapping.
Buffalo's averaged 372 yards a game running the ball last season. Only Nebraska averaged more. We're going to that power run game again. Tailback. Pritchard breaks it inside the 20-yard line. Mark Fletcher, the strong safety for Tennessee, stopped him from going the distance as it was. Pritchard got 17.
Again, cutback plays in the middle. Cutting one man off and then letting the others overrun it. And that's just what happened one more time. So all you need is one man out of that pursuit, and there's a gap in the defense, and that quickness takes it.
I'll tell you one guy, Bill, that'll be practicing extra hard this week is Bieniemy, who was the starting tailback. Pritchard, look at his numbers.
132.
14 carries.
132.
Who had an interception earlier in the game was the man who blocked the field goal attempt.
Every time there's been a placement kick, both teams have been in trouble. We've had a number of them blocked, almost blocked, and this is a part of the game that just takes some refinement. But you see the up back on the left, I didn't get the number, but one man inside of him and one man outside of him.
So we'll be back after this. Ahmad Rashad, this is Don Criqui back at the Disneyland Pigskin game of the 1990 college season. Tennessee trails Colorado by 7 in the fourth quarter as Tennessee goes to the throw. And the ball is dropped by the normally sure-handed fullback Greg Amsler. The 2nd and 10. John Majors, the coach of Tennessee, calls his starting tackles, McCray and Davis, the best pair of tackles on one team he's ever seen. Somebody in the media called the Tennessee offensive line, Bill, the real TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority.
Well, Mislinski, Fisher, and Baird are not bad, so you've got excellent people there. That throw had a little too much on it, really, for Amsler to handle well. So, again, Kelly can refine those kinds of things.
On 2nd and 10, Kelly stands in, happy feet, and he is quickly closed down by the on-rushing nose tackle, Joel Steed.
They have to punt, and Colorado has the ball back. They may use the entire clock. Everything's fine. We're just waiting too long. And again, that's experience.
This Steed's a great guy to have in your team, a real leader.
He gets the accolades of both coaches. I know that.
Number 93, the nose tackle for Colorado, Joel Steed, a 280-pound junior. 3rd down and 19 now. The Vols have a big problem. Dump off goes to Webb as he tries to do it the open field, but on the cutback at the 15, he loses his footing. Chad Brown falls on him. Tennessee has to punt the ball from deep in their own end, trailing 17-10.
Alfred Williams was all over Kelly that time. Not so much to sack him, but just to get in the way. There wasn't anywhere else to throw the ball. You know, the part of this game, Don, $400,000 goes to a coach's retirement plan. And that's one of the reasons that Johnny Majors and Bill McCartney accepted this game. We're getting it started. So often, assistant coaches just don't have the kind of retirement they need.
McClellan breaks into open field. Abe McClellan inside the 10, and he takes it in, putting the Tapper on a sensational performance.
McClellan showed the speed his dad had. He's a little quicker than people thought, but the punt itself was flat, and the coverage didn't get near him. He had a running start.
He looks like Jason from one of those Friday the 13th, the way his face is all. He's got it off now. He's had a big bandage all over his nose. Apparently took it off. It was interfering with his breathing. Certainly not his ability to play football, as he has been sensational at cornerback for Colorado. And the Buffaloes, who trailed in this game 7-0, have now taken command 24-10 over Tennessee.
To run with it to get his start, then he just makes it a sprint. Excellent blocking on the outside. Beautiful job.
6'1", 108 senior. As Coach Bill McCartney looks down and likes what he sees. Just like we drew it up. So the Buffaloes are in command, the biggest lead of the game, 14. Colorado, after taking a 24-10 lead on a punt return for a touchdown by Dave McClellan, now kicks off. Here's Pickens. Now Pickens is out to the 31-yard line, knocked down by Paul Rose.
This punt return was beautifully managed and orchestrated, well coached. Now you see now it's going to have to throw every down, and this is where Alfred Williams, McGee, Steed, these guys are going to just sell out now. Go after that passer.
Here comes the rush as Kelly stands in, and it's slapped back. Almost intercepted. Gary Howe got a hand at it, and Alfred Williams, who was a standout basketball player and played varsity one season at Colorado, almost caught the ball.
You can't just, as a quarterback, look at a man and then throw him the ball. Most often, a short pass like that, the quarterback has to move, then throw it, so that someone can't zero in, jump up, and block it. Again, these are all the nuances that take people years to develop.
Tennessee has split the run on the pass, Bill. 30 rushes, 31 throws.
We might get 40 throws by the time the day's over.
Andy Kelly did well to release that ball. Gary Howe, McGee, and Williams all on him. Davis McGee and Alfred Williams, the outside backers, are now coming as pass rushers. They're just coming every snap of the ball.
I'm sure Johnny Majors, with 132 yards out of those over 30 attempts, is not going to be pleased with it. Now, if they had 300 yards, then you'd have a potent passing game. But right now, the heat is really on. And when you're behind by this, you have to almost gamble with a trap play or something up inside.
Webb is in the game. He's their trap runner, their tailback, a line behind Kelly, but he's now set up as a pass blocker. Kelly throws and makes the completion. Nicely done. Connection to Alvin Harper for a first down.
That was well done. Now it's a matter of the pass protectors just getting their job done. And you've got some excellent people there we've talked about throughout the afternoon. They're going to have to keep those people from pushing into the quarterback. You can't have any more blocked passes.
Well, there's been a lot of blocked passes, a lot of blocked kicks in this game. Tennessee coming off an 11-1 season, and they finished 5th in the national rankings in the concluding poll last year. They won the Cotton Bowl over Arkansas. In trouble now in its opening game against Colorado. Here's a throw downfield, the connection. This time Pickens takes it in and dives down to the 29-yard line. So the Volunteers, after a couple of drops by Carl Pickens, get the big play from this sensational sophomore receiver. Good for a 27-yard gain.
He went for that one, Don. He went inside for the ball. So he's learning in just this little experience. He's got to keep his eye on it, got to concentrate. Good pass protection. Good protection here. bounds. Well done. Well, they're still in it. Didn't get a quick touchdown.
Vols have the passing game in sync as they move the ball down the field now. A lot of time still to be played. 8:58 to go in the game.
And Pickens has got great athletic ability. And he's going to come up the field and break to the inside. And there's been a hole in this defense all day, right there between linebackers in front of safeties.
Second down and 4 now for Tennessee. Vols trail the Buffaloes by 14 points. Kelly throws, open man, and it's caught for a Tennessee touchdown. Alvin Harper, a 205-pound senior from Florida, a 7-foot, 2.5-inch high jumper, getting open. He's been the big play receiver for the most part in this game, as Kelly takes the Volunteers right down the field on passes. Final one, 24 yards and 6, and Tennessee's right back in it.
Well, Kelly talked about it, visiting with him before the game. He can see the blitz coming, he said. They don't bother to hide it. They don't try to deceive you. They come up and blitz. That time Colorado blitzed. Kelly knew just where to go with the ball.
Big extra point. It'll bring Tennessee back to within 7. Greg Burke hits it up and good. And Tennessee climbs back to within 7 points of the Colorado lead.
Colorado is going to show their blitz. Everybody coming. You see number 19 up the middle, trips. But Kelly knew just where to go. And the speed of the receiver just, and no help for the defender. There wasn't any problem in getting it done. You'll see on the outside, just a nice pattern. Nice pattern breaking back to the inside. Just too much room for a single man to cover that receiver. McCartney's, you know, your emotions can take incredible swings in sports. And Bill McCartney just had a swing. That single blitz, I can't recall that blitz before in the game. So Kelly saw it, and Tennessee was ready.
Bill Walsh, you said to the Tennessee coaches yesterday that when they drew up their game plan, you wouldn't be surprised to see him throw it 40 times. They said, no, we won't be doing that. Well, they're up to 36 now and counting.
And they'll get another chance. They'll get to the 40. Now the key will be Colorado and them controlling the ball.
Joey Chapman now put in to kick off. He's been punting. Here's a spinning kick downfield. Taken by Dwayne Davis. He loses the ball. And there'll be some gnashing of teeth at the bottom of that pile. Can lose an arm in there.
That is a pile.
It does draw a crowd. Vols think they have it. And the Vols do have it. Well, the officials are, and we have a life and death struggle down there.
They've got it.
So Tennessee seemingly out of the game, down 24-10 in the fourth quarter. Strikes on the touchdown throw, and 2 plays later, 1 play later on the kickoff, comes back and recovers a fumble.
That wasn't even close. There's the ball. Oh.
Lee Wood looks to be the man who got the fumble for the Volunteers.
That wasn't even close to a catch. I don't know if there's sun involved or anything, but it was just totally mishandled.
They're not hard to drop.
Gee. Tennessee's naturally has plenty of time. They can't afford any kind of a mistake right here.
Now we get the age-old dilemma. Do they go for 2 if they score the touchdown? Webb straight ahead. If they score at this point, they surely would probably kick the extra point and tie it. There's still 8:42 to play in the game.
They've got to at least get points here anyway. But there's time now with their passing game. And I don't think, Don, that you're going to see Colorado blitz again. They blitzed heavily one time, and it cost them. So they're going to just play their basic defense.
There's the turnover table. And what will happen after the last fumble by the Buffaloes? Colorado still leading the game, though, 24-17. Tennessee with second down and 7 at the 16-yard line of the Buffaloes. Kelly gets time. Lofts it into the end zone. Tip ball intercepted. Colorado picks it up. Looked like Tim James, the strong safety, gets a tip ball. It was James. And so Colorado comes back and makes Tennessee turn it over.
Oh, boy. Andy Kelly could easily have run with the ball again. He might not have gotten more than 4 or 5 yards, but to throw it up into a crowd of people, there's no need to do that. Now you see him move out of the pocket. Good judgment so far. Now just to throw up in through that crowd and hope for the best, there's no need to do that. They almost got lucky with it, but 3 Colorado people hit that ball before the play was over.
We'll be back to the Pigskin Classic after this. Back to the Pigskin Classic with 7:57 to play in the game, and Colorado, its lead threatened, takes the ball back on an interception of Andy Kelly of Tennessee. Ball picked off by the strong safety Tim James, a standout player in the Big 8 throughout his entire career at Colorado. He's now a senior. But still, Bill Walsh, there's time for them to get the ball back to Vols and get back in it.
If they can get 3 and out here or close to it, they'll come right back. They can throw effectively. It's just the misjudgments down the field, and Andy Kelly can clear that up, but it may cost him a game along the way.
To the run. Tennessee's defense is there to stop Michael Simmons for a little gain, 2nd and long. Sean Walker, the middle linebacker, made the tackle, number 45.
Well, it always seems to boil down to the last 5 or 6 minutes in these kinds of games where you've got nationally ranked teams, and we talked about a big pass play making the difference. It appeared that for Tennessee, but the pass plays have been negative factors, not positive.
Hagan on the option run, fires it out somehow. It could go the distance. Mike Pritchard's on the run. He went 55 for a touchdown. Now he'll exceed that as he takes it all the way. No flags down.
Well, you know, we talked about Hagan making those kind of judgments and questioning it. That was a left-handed pitch. He can pitch the ball with either hand, but that kind of a decision, we talked about it winning games last year, the judgment of doing it this year, and did it pay off? There 78 yards, and does Pritchard have speed? That sprint for him down that sideline.
78 yards. Look at these numbers, Bill, for Pritchard.
215, 16 carries, 2 touchdowns. Bieniemy had better be ready when he comes back next week.
Extra point is up and good, and again Tennessee finds itself in that 14-point hole. Volunteers down to Colorado 31-17, and still.
Well, if Colorado keeps this up, they could be right back in the Orange Bowl. Of course, there's a long way to go.
At Lincoln, Nebraska looms large, although, as you pointed out, Bill McCartney thinks that Oklahoma is going to be a real force again.
Back on the lengths people go to win in college football, by and large, they're good. But I say again, they must improve or increase the amount of aid the athlete gets so he can subsist like other students.
Kyle Pickens runs it back. Coverage was right there. Everybody in their channel on the kick coverage for Colorado, and they turned him back and threw him down. Opening day of the National Football League is Sunday, September 9th.
But that Raider-Denver game looks like a big one, too. Boy, it's on the line that first week.
Houston goes to Atlanta. Jets at Cincinnati. Here's a quick out. Goes to Kyle Pickens. He's ahead for a first down and more, as Pickens now comes alive, making plays down the stretch of this game. He had those 2 big drops earlier, one for a short touchdown.
Well, Tennessee's got the ability to do it with their speed. That play for the touchdown, the 78-yard run, do you think that's a warning and a reminder to everybody that meets Colorado? Never let Hagan alone. Never give him a chance to pitch outside, even if he's being tackled. And you've got to stay on the pitch, man. You can't drop it. And in this case, Tennessee dropped it.
Ansler, the fullback, swings it out, gets downfield, and gets out of bounds to stop the clock after gaining a first down for Tennessee.
Now we're going to see the incredible feat of 3 people before he pitched that ball.
And Andy Kelly set the pitch now at first down and 10. Tennessee down down by 14. Over the middle throw. He's got Elvin Harper. He's quickly taken down at the 49-yard line by Dave McClellan, who had that sensational punt return for a Colorado touchdown. Last year, Colorado had a great kick returner, and Jeff Campbell, he's now at the Lions. In fact, ran back a punt 85 yards the other night for a touchdown.
People didn't think he'd be big enough to play NFL football. Apparently so.
Elvin Harper into the seam, and Andy Kelly right on target with the ball.
Well, keep it going, Tennessee. A touchdown here. Who knows? This is what we thought the game would be like once people got over that pre-game or first-game jitters, and it's turning out that way. Both offenses moving the ball almost at will, executing well, but it's the turnovers that have destroyed Tennessee and Colorado, but especially, obviously, Tennessee.
Kelly throws it away. Coverage was there. Throwing in the area of the ever-dangerous Dave McClellan, who has both an interception today and a punt return for a touchdown.
You know, you just hate to think of these young guys leaving college campuses before they've completed their education, as so many of them are thinking of doing or attempting to do now. So few really make it in the National Football League, and that leaves some lost souls out there without their scholarship, without their classmates. And what do they do then?
Well, the NFL vigorously opposed allowing underclassmen to come out. With threat of legal action, they had to do it. Amsler in the open field, heading inside the 20, and he crashes down to the 15-yard line.
Beautifully executed screen. Both linemen were outside blocking as the ball was caught, which is legal at the college level, and beautifully done. And Amsler ran straight up the field.
Players shaken up might be a defensive back, David Gibbs of Colorado.
This is well done by Kelly, too. You see him give ground. Now people are moving outside to the right of the screen. Now watch linemen block. Right now we didn't get a look at that, but they did it beautifully.
Tennessee didn't see him down. They broke the huddle and were ready to go. Got a wounded warrior out there, and David Gibbs, who was stunned on the play.
Well, Gibbs was out there with some linemen that outweighed him by maybe even 100 pounds. And my guess is he got caught by one of those big linemen and didn't stand up to it very well.
He gets
Not
raised.
necessarily.
No, he didn't throw the ball well, but I tell you, he led his team to yet another victory. Colorado with the longest regular season winning streak in college football, 12 in a row.
Well, if they could just get together something they could count on passing, Colorado would be a prime contender for that #1 rating.
They did lose the last game. That was the Orange Bowl, the postseason game. Here's the throw. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Great catch. Well executed. Well executed.
Coach Majors is like what he's seen on the O side of the ball. It's his defense and special teams that have given up some big plays.
That was well executed. Baird came out of there as a guard. He had no one to block. And out came Kelly, no one near him, and then a good throw and a good catch.
The 7-point game again as Colorado's lead is cut to 31-24.
You'll see outside he comes, and oh, it's number 51, Fisher, coming out the center. No one to block, but this catch took some doing. Beautiful catch, and Kelly, as most quarterbacks, make their mistakes, then redeem themselves. Now this is a beautiful job of reaching in there for that ball, because there could be somebody coming from the other direction. So Pickens has had a hot and cold day, but he's demonstrated his great athletic ability, and he's here to stay. Sophomore. If he stays in college, he'll be one of the typical Tennessee receivers that have great careers and go to the NFL.
We've got a game and a lot of time left. 5:36 to go. Colorado leading by 7. They'll not bring it out as the kickoff is out of the end zone by Joey Chapman. Coming up is NBC Nightly News. Garrick Utley will be reporting from Amman, Jordan. Mary Alice Williams at the anchor desk in New York. NBC Nightly News coming up following collegiate football. Opening game of the 1990 season. Don Criqui with Bill Walsh and Ahmad Rashad at Anaheim Stadium. The first Disneyland Pigskin Classic, matching two teams ranked in the top 10 in every preseason poll. Two teams that a year ago came within one game each of perfect seasons. Both finished 11-1. Tennessee and Colorado. Buffaloes with the ball in a 7-point lead. Pressure on the Tennessee defense now. Darian Hagan on the option run stays in bounds. Keeps the clock running after a gain of 4.
Well, that pitch play might not be part of the arsenal the rest of this game because one miscue could cost him. But earlier on, that play by Hagan, excuse me, was phenomenal. And I'm sure they're getting a plan together on the other side of the field because Kelly's going to most likely get one more chance to tie it up or go ahead.
Good do by Tennessee as this time they get Pritchard, who's just eaten them alive today, with 2 touchdown runs, one of 55 yards, one of 78 yards.
You know, Don, it's execution and precision toward the end of these games because both teams want to win equally bad. And whether you say fourth quarter with your hand raised or some gesture means nothing. It's execution. Right. And Tennessee has not collapsed or let down, even though it looked bad for them just a few minutes ago.
Big down now in this game. 3rd down and 7 for Colorado. Hagan on the rollout. Garton's there to protect him. Hagan throws. Incomplete. Colorado has to punt, and Tennessee gets another crack at it with still a substantial amount of time on the clock. 4:21 to play.
That stopped the clock. Incomplete pass stops the clock. Gives Tennessee about 25 more seconds when they do get possession. You've got to be careful of incomplete passes when you want to take time off the clock.
Talk, Bill, about the General Neyland, the great Tennessee coach of yesteryear, and his axioms of winning football about the team that makes the fewest mistakes wins. Another was, and it takes some thinking when you hear it, close games are usually lost by the losing team, not won by the winning team.
So true.
Chapman hits it downfield. Pickens has to let it roll, and it takes a big Colorado bounce down to the 26-yard line. So Tennessee has the long field to go, but they've got a chance, down by 7. Back live at Anaheim Stadium. Tennessee has the ball. Andy Kelly really lighting it up with his throwing arm in the 4th quarter.
11 for 16, 163 yards, which is impressive, but the one big interception might finally cost him the game. He'll learn from all this, and he's out there giving it a shot right now, so anything can happen.
Tennessee starts pitching, though. They can cover the field fast. Here's Kelly standing in. Out pattern. Goes to tight end Von Reeves, who works his way ahead for a gain of 8 yards and steps out of bounds. 4:03 left to play, and Colorado on defense in the lead by 7.
You see the uniform soiled and people tired, and some of it reverts to the pass rushers themselves. If they're tired, they lose that explosion and they don't get to the passer. In just the recent 4 or 5 throws, the Colorado pass rush has not been getting close.
2nd and 2 for Tennessee. Amsler catches the ball somehow and heads for a first down and gets out of bounds.
Good catch. Good judgment. And he used whatever speed he had against some guys that might be a little faster and just went for that sideline. And all of this demonstrates some poise and some coaching. But look at this. Nice catch, but he makes something out of it. Gets that first down and stops the clock.
First and 10 for Tennessee. 3:55 to play. Kelly to an open man, Pickens, and he's not dropping him anymore. Kyle Pickens, in the midst of 3 defenders, takes in the ball. He's ahead for a gain of 16 yards and a Tennessee first down.
Pickens has come of age. He really has. With that great athletic ability, and now he's seasoned himself in just 1 game. And look how slowly that group in Colorado is coming back. Alfred Williams is barely moving, So he's lost. Yeah, he's not doing much right now.
Out pattern caught. Now they really he was out of bounds when he got it. Tight end Mark Adams. That TVA, as they call the Tennessee offensive line, the real Tennessee Valley Authority, taking care of Andy Kelly, giving him enough time to operate, and he's getting him downfield.
Scary pass. But that fourth quarter hand high with 4 fingers, the Colorado gave, fine. But right now that Colorado defense is not coming off the ball in pass rush. They're tired. So it's not so much how you think you should be, it's just getting the job done.
Kelly on 2nd down and 10. Stands in. Pickens has the ball. He's inside the 20. And Kyle Pickens ahead for a Tennessee first down.
Best throw, best catch of the game. And no pass rush, none. Now you see him breaking up and right into that middle. He's caught at least 5 passes going right there. Good block downfield.
Man that Johnny Majors called the best athlete he's ever coached, Kyle Pickens, with a 29-yard gainer. This time the pass rush comes and it sweeps under quarterback Andy Kelly of Tennessee.
Anton Davis just didn't move his feet.
Tell you, Bill, Pickens has some phenomenal numbers catching the ball despite the drop. 7 catches for 136 yards. This thing's turned into a track meet.
This is a critical down. You almost need a huddle. Now Anton Davis, our great prospect, didn't move his feet. It seemed he felt in control of his man. Now good protection.
2nd down and 18. They get the ball down the sidelines to Pickens, and he's down inside the 20-yard line to the 19. But a very difficult play call now for Tennessee. You know they'll be throwing it. 3rd down and 13.
Well, they've got 2 downs to get 13 yards, and if they look at it that way, they'll probably be okay. One of those screens would most likely be there because the pass rushers just aren't getting on track. So they're not going to get out to a screen either. So the screen pass or something right up the middle in the way of a trap might have a good chance. It's so easy to say all that, Don.
Yeah, you've got a lot of them to work. They've got the great runner that can run that trap in Webb. They need 13. Kelly searches out an open man. Fires near side. There is an open man there. Vince Moore. But they ruled that he had a knee down when he caught the ball. And now a dilemma faces Johnny Majors and the Tennessee coaching staff. 4th down arises. They're down by 7. They have the ball at the 12-yard line of Colorado. Need 4 yards for the first down.
Just think that one knee right there. His knee was down. If that ball would have been up 6 inches, they very well might have had a touchdown. Just 6 inches.
But still a lot of time remaining as this is slowly evolving into a primetime show in the East. 2:40 to play in the game. 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It was 10-10 at the half. Bill McCartney, the coach of Colorado, called it a high-stakes game. The winner would have a tailwind towards a possible national championship. The loser would have to pick up the pieces. Coming up next, following college football, the NBC Nightly News with Garrick Utley reporting from Amman, Jordan. Mary Alice Williams in New York.
Well, all of that practice comes down to one play, and this is how we thought it might be. Not that we've got a crystal ball, but we knew both teams would sooner or later get on track offensively. Kelly in the 4th quarter, 17 of 23, 233 yards. 2 touchdowns and that 1 interception that'll haunt them on their way home unless they pull this game out. Overall, 32 out of 51, 360.
So you were wrong when you told those Tennessee coaches you thought they'd end up throwing it 40 times. They've thrown it 51.
51. We'll get one more probably.
We'll get more than that with 2:40 left. They've been holding Colorado when the Buffaloes have gotten back the ball.
You just have to have pass rush in the 4th quarter, and Colorado, other than this recent play, haven't had it.
Colorado is the first Big 8 opponent for Tennessee in 10 years. This is the first time ever that Tennessee and Colorado have played. Kelly on 4th down, stands in, thrown and caught. Beautiful. Caught at the 4-yard line for a first down.
That was a championship catch.
Alvin Harper. Oh, how big was that?
Beautiful job, and again, Kelly with all the time he needed. Now, he had an open receiver coming out late on the left side of the field, a back. So if Colorado will stay in his zone, he can hit a back and he'll walk in for the touchdown.
It's like your old friend Super Joe Montana and Jerry Rice working magic.
Gee, I guess so. It means just as much to these guys as it does to the NFL guys, or more. They're representing their great university.
First and goal for Tennessee as they hit the 4th down play for a first down. Now they've got a guard against the interception throw.
Oh, no.
Almost.
Gee, he did it again.
Greg Thomas. So close to a game winner for the Buffaloes.
Oh, gee. He came left, threw right back into defenders. The quarterback has to account for where defenders are. You just can't scramble around and look late and throw a ball. Look at this. He's just got to get that out of his system.
They talked about this opening game shaping up as possibly one of the best games of the season, and it's been as good as advertised. As with 2 minutes and 29 seconds to play, Colorado's holding to a 31-24 lead over the orange-clad Volunteers of Tennessee. Second and goal, Tennessee. Down by 7. 2:29 to play. There's the draw you've been looking for, Bill, and it's good for 6.
Beautifully done. Excellent call. There had to be a run sooner or later. And that Colorado defense is tired. And people are just standing in the way. They're fatigued. Part of it, the two-a-days. Part of it, the kind of game it's been, because there's been over 50 passes thrown and 50 pass rushes because of it. But they fatigued.
Hemingway wrote about the moment of truth in the bull ring. This is it on the football field. They're going to know they're not going to go for 2. They're going to kick the extra point and tie it up with.
They'll get the ball back, Ron. I think they feel they'll get the ball back.
First of all, it's 65% against when you go for 2 that you'll make it.
That judgment was fine by me because Colorado does not throw well. If they try, they'll likely have incomplete passes. Tennessee will get another shot. And that's good judgment by Johnny Majors. It puts the heat on Colorado because Colorado doesn't want to tie. And Tennessee is now the team with advantage. They throw so much better than Colorado does.
I remember so vividly that Orange Bowl, January 1, 1984. Number 1 Nebraska, unbeaten and untied against 4th-ranked Miami of Florida and Bernie Kosar. Nebraska could have won a national championship if they kicked the extra point and tied it. They'd have finished unbeaten, but they had the courage to go for 2. Didn't make it. It cost them a national title. I don't think teams will be doing that.
No, that is bravado.
Now Joey Chapman kicks off, but don't count Colorado out. They got a very strong kicking game.
Well, this is what Bill McCartney and his staff and the team has practiced. They've been in this situation before, haven't done real well, so now they'll have a plan.
Mike Pritchard, who's been the back of this game, comes back for Colorado. He has a 78-yard touchdown run and a 55-yarder, and he runs the kickoff back to the 31-yard line. And here Darian Hagan and the Buffalo offense comes out first and 10 with 2:17 to play. Game tied 31-all. After twice late in the game, Colorado held 14-point leads.
That kickoff return came very close to breaking. Within 1 tackle of going all the way.
You were mentioning, Bill Walsh, those prolific throwing numbers of Darian Hagan, or of Andy Kelly. Hagan's are
not great. He's made a game-winning play or 2, but 4 out of 16 for 51 yards, 3 interceptions. But one big play now with their speed, and they can get it done again.
They keyed on Pritchard. He's been the money back for Colorado, and Shazan Bradley, number 40, shot the gap and made the stop on the 180-pound Pritchard.
Well, I'm sure that Colorado is putting together a defensive plan now. Not only offense to try to pull this thing out, but defense because Tennessee could get that ball again. And they're going to have a plan. If they leave here with a tie or a draw, so be it.
Hagan on the rollout, fires on the run, incomplete at the 49-yard line.
Hagan could have run on that play.
1:41 to play. Third down and 13 now arises for Colorado in this tie game with 101 ticks of the clock remaining to be played.
I hate to say it, but it's almost befitting we get a tie. Both teams have given a heck of a shot. It's been an exciting game. I don't wish that on any school or coach, but
Volunteer fans, 7,000 strong, sound like 50,000 now. They exhort their defense. Here's Hagan. Great block, gives him a moment. He hits the completion. First down, Colorado, out to the 43-yard line. What a game.
Took some real doing for him to get that ball off, because he was being chased. He got some excellent blocks by his offensive lineman coming to the outside, and that saved him. Big one right there. He's going to get another, and he has to get in the way of a big shot on himself getting the ball off.
First down and 10, Colorado. Game tied 31 all. 1:31 to play. Up the middle, they run the ball to the 49. Gain of 5 yards.
What would it take, Don, to get a field goal out of this now? If they get to about the 30-yard line, 40, about the 30-yard line, they've got a chance to win it with a field goal. So they need 20 yards approximately.
Roll out. Darian Hagan throws, but he is errant, trying to make a connection down at the 27-yard line.
Flag in the middle of the field, Don. What could that mean?
Maybe they ran over the umpire again.
He came real late.
Tennessee thinks it's against the Buffaloes.
Well, it took him a long time to get the ball off, and it could be that someone, his pulling guard or something, could have been down the field. Now, this is like any other kind of match or combat. Fatigue is a factor. People's minds are pretty clear, but their bodies aren't going to do what they want them to.
Ineligible receiver, downfield, 5 yards, still second down.
Bill McCartney pacing the sidelines, as is his counterpart Johnny Majors across the way. Harper's range 45 yards. The backup place kicker, Pat Blotto, can hit it from 50 yards, but he hasn't kicked today. Harper's been very effective. 2nd and 9. Hagan stands in, lofts one down the middle, caught for a first down by Hemingway. They're waving that off. Looked like a catch, but apparently they're ruling it incomplete.
Boy, it looked like he caught that, didn't it? Of course, from where we are, you can't be sure, but it was a well-executed play, good protection, nicely thrown.
Definitely caught it.
There, he's got the ball. He's got the ball. No, I lose. That's really tight. The official was in great position to spot it. You know, college officials do expert jobs, and they're all professional men, just dedicated to this kind of work.
3rd down and 10. Darian Hagan trying to run ahead. He didn't get there. And now, what does Colorado do with 4th down and 8 coming up?
You know, the option play at this point, Don, I wouldn't necessarily want to concede for the tie, but I wouldn't want to give this game up either. So Hagan on his option play has got as good a chance for Colorado as anything.
Last timeout.
There's the McCartney family on the sideline. That's Mrs. McCartney, his daughter Christy, and the little boy, and the father of that boy was the late Sal Arnesi, Timmy.
Good-looking guy.
Yes, he is. And really not yet old enough to worry about the outcome like Mom and Grandma are.
Yeah. Well, this is great sport, college football. This is, you know, throughout my entire career, I've always felt that the game itself started right here. This is the foundation of football. And these two schools, great universities, fine programs, solid programs, honest programs, are the core of football.
Well, they come right down now to 39 seconds to play, and Colorado's going to punt the ball and make Tennessee put it up in the air to try to get in field goal range with 39 seconds to play in this tie game. 31 all. Two top 10 teams in every preseason poll. Colorado number 1 in 2 preseason polls and almost number 1 at the end of last season. Downfield punt, and here's Pickens. Down to the 23-yard line. As you pointed out, Bill, a tie might be fitting.
I'd hate to see it, but both teams are deserving of a win or even conceivably a loss with some of the mistakes. But great game. What a game to start the serious football season with.
Like somebody said, a tie is like kissing your sister, but that's better than kissing your brother, right?
I never understood that. I'll take a tie.
Yeah, they're both in the national championship hunt if they come out of a deadlock, but we have 30 seconds to go, and the way this one's been going, we could have another 6. Perhaps 3, and here is Webb on the draw. Heading for the sidelines, and they'll cut him down, and now a penalty marker comes in, thrown way in by the back judge. Might be a holding.
Way down the field, he might have his eye on one of the flankers' blocks or something.
Participated on the defense. Penalty enforced from the end of the run. 15 yards, first down.
Whoa.
15.
12 men on the field by Colorado, resulting in a 15-yard penalty.
Now that's a new one. I'm sorry if I don't know all the college rules, but 15 yards for 12 men. That's like 5 years for what? Stealing a donut or something.
Draw play to Webb. Turns to the outside and gets out of bounds at the 41-yard line with 18 seconds to play.
Well, 11 yards, 12-yard gain gets a field goal.
Greg Burke is the very experienced Tennessee field goal kicker, a senior, who last year hit 14 of 16 field goals. Webb just went over 100 yards rushing with that carry. 26 carries for 109 yards. Second down and less than 2, but time is of the essence now. 18 seconds to play. Kelly Rex, they get his arm as he releases the ball. It's incomplete. And the clock is stopped, as you see, with 12 seconds to play in this tie game.
Well, they can get up the middle with that draw play to Webb anytime they want, because Colorado is weary. They're not getting off blocks. And if you look closely, those uniforms are soiled and they're worn out. So with Webb's running, they can go right up the middle and get what they want.
So the first Disneyland Pigskin Classic has been a classic. Burke getting ready on the sideline for Tennessee in this tie game. 12 seconds to play. Has hit 1 of 3 field goals today. 2 were blocked. He did make one from 47 yards. They've got to get it substantially downfield from here. He's over 57 where they're lining right now. Downfield throw, and so they have
down to really one play and no pass rush. So he's going to have all the time he wants back there.
4th and 1 with 7 seconds. I think you got to give it your best shot kicking it.
Well,
unless you got to have Superman out there also.
The only way you can do it, I think, the only way you can do it is to have a receiver breaking into the flat, throw him the ball, and he just runs right out of bounds for the first down. Now, if you have a man in motion to do that, but some way with someone just breaking right into the flat, throw him the ball, he just keeps running, gets the first down. Then he'd have a chance to get a little closer for the field goal.
Coming to the near side are 2 super fast wideouts, Alvin Harper 81 and Anthony Morgan 80. 7 seconds to play in a tie game. They go to the draw, and Webb takes it up the middle. He's not done. He's inside the 20, and Webb is down to the 16-yard line as time runs out. So Tennessee goes to the run on the final play, trying to catch Colorado off balance. Webb almost breaks it, but that is it. We're pleased to announce that the Disneyland Pigskin Classic Player of the Game Who is it, Bill?
Well, I'm going to call Pritchard as the... No,
But
well...
Darian Hagan ended up
Darian
with the
Hagan,
award.
okay. Well, there are about 5 guys, huh, Don?
There was a lot. So the final score, Tennessee 31, Colorado 31. Now for Bill Walsh and Ahmad Rashad, this is Don Criqui. Glad you could be with us at the first Disneyland Pigskin Classic, a standoff.
The preceding has been a presentation of NBC Sports. Survive, a stunning drama based on the true life story. I know.
4th and 3 in Colorado territory. Pickens can't bring in the sure first down pass, and he is not happy. But the Vols don't die, trailing 24-10. The Buffalo blitz backfires as Alvin Harper scores on the post pattern. Then after the Vols recovered a Colorado fumble, Kelly's pass deflected into the arms of Tim James. A costly turnover. Mid-4th, Buffalo strike again. Darian Hagan with a blind toss on the option to Mike Pritchard. 80 yards, and he is gone. 31-17 Colorado. But the game is not over. After a Tennessee touchdown pass to make it a 7-point game, Chuck Webb goes right up the middle. 2nd and goal at the 4. Touchdown. That ties it at 31. 4th and 7, 7 seconds to go. The Vols still have the ball on the Colorado 40. Tennessee runs the ball. Webb is taken down. Time runs out. The game ends in a 31-31 tie. The college football season has arrived. A tie score. Colorado and Tennessee, the number 5 and number 8 teams in the country. That's going to do it for SportsCenter. I'm Charlie Steiner.
And I'm Robin Ross.
Top 10 powerhouse teams, Colorado and Tennessee. A wide receiver turned running back stole the spotlight for the Buffaloes to push them in front, but the Volunteers came back scrapping their ground attack for the air, and the skies were indeed friendly. Inaugural Pigskin Classic in Anaheim, sponsored by Disneyland, so sit back and watch this roller coaster of a game unfold. This is wide receiver turned running back Mike Pritchard racing up the gut, and he takes it 55 yards to put Colorado up 17-10. In the 4th, Dave McElwain takes the Tennessee punt at his own 45, heads to the far sidelines, and the punter's not going to get him. He goes into the end zone, 55 yards, and Bill McCartney's team seemed in control, 24-10, but Darian Hagan here looks like he's going to go down, but the Buffs are going to get a touchdown out of it as Pritchard takes the pitch and turns on the juice. 78 yards later, he makes it 31-17. Johnny Major's team in trouble. Pritchard, a huge day, 217 yards. But the Vols come back. Junior quarterback Andy Kelly got hot in the second half. He was unreal. Carl Pickens makes the touchdown grab. It was slim Pickens earlier in the game for Pickens. He dropped a couple of passes wide open, but he made good there. Here is the give to Chuck Webb, the SEC Freshman of the Year. The touchdown with 2:25 left, and that ties it up because they go for the extra point. Johnny Majors decides not to go for the 2-point conversion, so the Vols coming up with 2 touchdowns in the final 5 minutes and 36 seconds. The first ever meeting between the two schools, and look what happens. Webb finishes with 131 yards, and Kelly was unbelievable. 262 of his 368 passing yards in the second half. 8 turnovers in the game. Buffaloes had 5 of them. And afterwards, Johnny Majors defended his decision to kick the ball.
You know, the decision to go over 2 is always a great decision. People like to second-guess that, and they make it a lot easier when they're not involved. But I can tell you this, unless you're going to, at that particular time, for a championship, a tie is a hell of a lot better than a loss. And the way our team fought back, and I'll stick to that a long, long time.
Up 2 touchdowns, you think that things would go your way and the game would be, you know, in your favor. But you got to give it to Tennessee. They came back and did a hell of a job and got the tie with us.
Couldn't have asked for a more exciting opener in the college football season. We got more college football coming up this Friday at the Meadowlands between Syracuse.
Founded in 1933, showcases the tradition and emotion of one of the greatest conferences in all of college football. The ultimate goal is the SEC title, a trip to the Sugar Bowl, and a possible